Oh yeah, it's getting spiritual in here. Highly spiritual. Oh yeah. What's up, guys? Are you ready to get highly spiritual? Look at all those sage spirits. Are you here to raise your vibrations or what? Because it's going to happen. You guys are probably going to transcend to 5D or 5G, whatever the case may be. Can you feel it? Can you feel the spirits? Motherfucker. How's your night, everybody? How's your night? What's going down in your world? Are you being real spiritual right now? I hope so. Got your sage? Yeah? I'm saging you. Can I tell you a story? One time, we were doing this little hippie thing in the guy's backyard. Ooh, about to journal in a bed? That sounds like a good plan. Man, one of my clients today got some big emotions going, you know? Worked up some shit. And she's like, it wasn't like a normal sesh, like an emotional alchemy sesh. It just kind of shifted. They're always a little different, you know? And she's this really cool artist. And she's like, I was like, gonna do some inner child integration stuff. Rocking the jade shades, yeah. Gotta be extra spiritual today. And these are the vibration, you know? Can you feel it? Anyway, she was like, I gotta go paint. And I was like, yeah, you do. I was like, paint all those emotions out. And she did the coolest painting. Oh man, it was fantastic. It was so cool. Oh, anyway. Me and my fiance is a 4-year split today. So this is nice. Sorry I've heard about that. But here's some sage. What's up, guys? We're getting highly spiritual up in this bitch. So if anybody has any spiritual questions, I'll give you 1, possibly 2 spiritual answers. Yeah, 4 years. Any advice on ways to be happy when someone you care about leaves your life? Okay, we were going to do a highly spiritual episode tonight, but now we have a lot of relationship questions. What's my definition of being spiritual? Ta-da! Did it. We are spirit. We're like this energetic vibration of buzzing atoms stuck together with magnets. The sage. See, I lit it on fire and now the sage spirits are coming out. If you light yourself on fire, do not. Do not. And if you do, I didn't suggest that. Your spirits will also come out. My definition of spiritual? I gotta have my vibration real quick. I mean, how can an inherently spiritual being be spiritual? It's like saying, like, I'm going to be human. What's my body count? Not too many, I guess. What's up, business tofu? How are you? We look to you for inspiration with your words. What do you do for a spiritual lift? I shake it around, you know? I get spiritual because we are spiritual, you know? Like, how do you get more spiritual than being fucking spirit? Like, you're nothing but a vibration. Today's your birthday. What's your name? Damn it, fat fingers. Come on, buddy. Corey. Everybody, it's Corey's birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Corey. Happy birthday to you. How old are you, Corey? What's up from Australia? And happy birthday to Corey, everybody. It's Corey's birthday. He's the oldest he's ever been. Take on anxiety, future thinking. Anytime you are thinking in the future, you're going to be anxious. Because let's think about it, right? All you got is right now. And go ahead and give me the future. Do it. You can't do it. All you got is your moment. And whatever your moment's like, that's what your future is going to be like. So if you start thinking about your futures, then you're fucking up your moment and you're anxious. Because you're like, what's going to happen? But all you have is right here, right now. So, what's my favorite way to meditate? I usually sit. I just I listen to a little bell track sometimes. Oh, thank you. I feel kingly. Okay, this is my meditation. Do I believe in reincarnation? Oh, this is way too spiritual. Yeah, I like reincarnation. I think that's the ping me have realizations. I'm glad you're having realizations. I read a book called Life Before Life, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. It's like 2,500 university studies where they found like kids that were under the age of 3 talking about like some past life experiences. Like they're like, you're not my mom. You know, like, where's my wife? You know, where's my house? Stuff like that. And then they used the information from these children under the age of 3, found the cities, found the families, found the gravestones, found all sorts of stuff like that these kids had talked about from their past life. And after reading that one, I was like, that seems plausible. If a person is always thinking, they have to think about it. Yes. All they have to think about is their thoughts. Yes. Hello. Hello, everybody. Crazy you mention it, but I've been thinking a lot about how what you do now creates your future. Yeah. Whatever you're doing right now is creating your future. Who is the thinker? It's right here, obviously. You hear all that thinking? It's not like a thought like you might think, but it's just as much of a thought as your thought. It's a vibration, you know? It's energy, perception of sound waves. It's kind of like, you know, you think a thought and you perceive something. This thought kind of makes you tingle up in your business. Other thoughts get you anxious into the future. Are you guys feeling more spiritual yet? I'm really putting on the spirituality tonight to get you guys more spiritual. Vibes. Oh, okay, yep. Hi, everybody. Hello. Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah, it's kind of good. Giant yellow bird. Who is the thinker? The giant yellow bird. I like that answer. Okay, thanks for all the likes, guys. I see this little heart beating over here, and it just makes me tingle. Also read, when people have near-death experience, they pass and make people when they have a near-death experience, they make people. Man, I kind of want to have a near-death experience. The fact that I exist at all is way crazier than the idea of me existing again. Yeah. What's your advice on becoming present? No, this is good. Here, let me just prep. Okay. You are a microbe of energy, little atomic bits, right? Just nothingness. Literally a vibrating field of electrons spinning at an incredible rate, stuck together with magnets. There's a cell, you know, and then there's you. Bam. On a tiny little rock made out of, if you were here last night, we learned where rocks came from, where crystals came from, different levels of cooked rocks. And an infinite void, infinite, ever expanding, because as far as you look, there it will be. So it's like, you don't even know if you're in a dream right now. You don't even know if you've just woken up. You don't even know if you just started right now. All of that stuff you're taking seriously, like, you got to just think it out of existence by thinking too big, and then it all explodes, and then you're like, oh, I'm just in this moment. So first you got to start there. Because none of that past exists. It doesn't exist. It's not there. Like, all of the things that you think you did, like, put them in a box. Send them to my house. I'll give you my address if you can find them. But they're not there. Right? They're nothing but energetic sensations within you, within your mind and your body. And all of the future that you think is going to exist is not there. It's created by your moment, by what you're doing right now, here. Like, here I am in a moment. It's not the past. Let me just wait a second. Nope. Still not the past. It's still right here in the moment. Still a little teeny electron fart on a spinning rock in an infinite void. Let me jump into the future real quick. It doesn't work. So just, like, calm the fuck down. Smell the flowers. And just live your damn life. Okay, there's too many comments coming in. How do you... Oh, fuck. Hey, guys. What's up? I see a flag. I don't know where this flag's from, though. I like it, though. Oh, man. There was, like... Whoa. Yura. Somebody's excited about that. What's your advice on Christmas presents? How do I focus on myself instead of falling into the same relationship pattern again? You got to learn your damn lessons. You know? You got to realize your patterns. Like, get present with your moment and be like, oh, here I am doing the same thing again. Why would I do that? Oh, that's because I learned how to love that way from my parents, or that's how I learned how to love that way, and oh, I see that pattern. You know, you just got to always look inside. If you're blaming other people's stuff on stuff, like, are you blaming stuff on other people? Yeah. You got to look at those patterns and then say, why would I be doing that? And then you got to reprogram those patterns by getting real conscious with what you're up to, all that bullshit, you know? And then you've got to do a little bit of reconditioning of your neurological pathways through setting new emotional habits of being a new person based on the experience that you had. You can't fuck it up. You're doing great. Netherlands, hello there. Do you believe the voice in your head is actually you? I mean, sure. Don't panic, babies. It'll all come out in the wash. Yep. You seem like a cool hippie. Thank you. Thanks for the fire. Where do you get these glasses from? Well, kids, let me tell you. I don't know if you can read that. Does that work if I do that? But it says crap. They're from Crap Eyewear. And they're phenomenal. These are called the Super Freaks. I really like them. Thanks for the follow. You can stay. Okay, we're in a dream. We are the writer, director, and actor of this amazing play. Yep, that's a good way to look at it. I tell my kids, I was like, look, guys, life's just a dream. Like, make it fucking cool. Like, because, honestly, it's the same thing as being in a dream. Right? Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's, like, scary. But you can kind of, if you just put a little mindset in there, you can make it a cool dream. Okay, where are we at? These sunglasses are like $90 or something. They're not that much. All right. Thank you so much. I need to hear that. Whatever I said, you're welcome. I just think memories of what you've been told or experienced. I think just memories of what sorry. You love the vibes. Good. This is good. Your wife is a hoarder. Usually hoarding is a sign of trauma, of something, of trauma, of lack and not having enough, like thinking that you're not going to have enough, so you have to like hold on to everything. It's usually a self-worth thing. I'd get some, if true hoarding therapy is good. Content is very centering. You're welcomes. I'm glad. Opinions on psychedelics. Do we got any cops in here? Does anybody know any of the flavors of Gatorade? This isn't a necklace. It's a mala. It's a mala. Thanks for the roses. See? It's got a little thing on it. That makes it a mala. 108 beads. It's a heuristic centering device. You can like ohm, or you can do a little prayer, or you can think or not think as you go through. It's just a centering device. So you focus on something stupid like playing with slime or putty or something like your kids do, instead of thinking about thoughts when you're meditating. I had a real nice hippie make this for me. Look at it. It's a rainbow. Chakras. Ooh, wait. Oh, you just lost your husband? I'm so sorry. I'm not going to fuck around about this. But I'll answer the psychedelics question. Let me just talk about grief. I'm not even going to fuck around right now. Here's what you do with the grief, which is a bitch. That's kind of a slow healing process, right? It is horrible to lose somebody that you love, hurts. You get used to feeling them. You have expectations of what will be. But also here we are in this moment. Never knowing when that moment together would have ended. And at one point it would always be this. Sounds like it's probably outside of your expectations, which is totally reasonable and a very human thing to do. Part of the process. So as you process, do this. Think of all of the beautiful things that your husband was and did and taught you, people around him, just by the person that he was. And realize that all of those feelings that make you feel good, all the beautiful things, are still just feelings within you that you can create at any moment. And you know what he feels like. You know what his energy feels like the spirit of him. So as you process, and as the pain passes through of that disconnection, breathe into the moment of him, of how he felt, energetically within you. And feel free to take that on a little bit, the spirit of him, and live with that as a beautiful lesson of life, a beautiful thing. Because the feelings that he gave you were still feelings created within you through the mirror of him. So as you process the loss, you can also play with the feelings and enjoy his presence in a way by allowing him to still be with you through that memory. It's a hard thing, and I'm very sorry for your loss. I'll keep playing this song for a little bit. How's that sound? Send some love, guys. Send some love to Chris Crush. Big love, everybody. Hey, let's light a little candle. And as the candle burns, did your husband have a favorite color, Chris Crush? What's your name? Chris Crush. Here. You can send me a message if you need some help. I followed you. Did he have a favorite color? Something he liked? We're going to light a little candle. Yeah. Kush. Sorry, Kush. Chris Kush. Sometimes I really don't do great at the whole reading comments thing. Black. All right. I just happen to have a candle for your husband right here. And anybody that hangs out for this live, I would love you to, as you see this candle burning, send all of your love to Chris Cush. She just lost her husband, which is obviously nothing that anybody wants to go through. So we are going to be here for you, sister. What his name was Kush. Okay. This one's for Kush. Kush, thank you for being the person that you are, in the energy that you are, and the person that you were, in the human form that you were as you were here with us. We love you, dude, and your family, and we're sending all of the good vibes out. That's all I know how to do for one of those. But that'll probably work. Yeah, black cards for Chris Cush. Big time. Man, that's a toughie, you know? And I'm glad we could be here for it, because it's like nobody, I mean, who wants to lose their loved one? Like, black cards. Send them, kids. When you see that candle burn, send some big heart space vibes. That's our best bet. All right. Yeah, look at these guys. Look at you guys. Man. If you just joined, one of our people here lost her husband recently. And we have a little candle burning here to send some good memories. Send some love. That's a tough one. Send those hearts, kids. Yeah, I can't. I lost my dad, like, pretty suddenly. He was in a car accident. It was 13 years ago, so it's been a little while for healing and things. My grandma was in the car too, so it was kind of how do you not make a horrible pun about that on accident? But it was a doubleheader, you know? Just not good. And it was honestly so traumatic losing my dad in that situation that I couldn't even, like, grieve my grandma, you know? That was a tough one. But that exercise, the grief exercise of realizing that my father, all of the things that he taught me and the person he was still within me as an energy, like the memory, the feeling of him. And in a few different meditations, I was just like, oh, like, my dad's here with me. Like, it's maybe not in physical form, but all of the beautiful, like, feelings that I could feel from my dad were still within me. Because the idea of my dad, the concept of my dad, who ultimately at one point would not be there, you know? And I just really, it's like I had this big kind of hole or something, like this ache, like, oof. And then as I kind of practiced that of, like, bringing in the idea of him and his energy and the feeling of him, it, like, integrated in this really beautiful way. And just lost your father-in-law. Yeah, take this for grief for all of you guys. Like, it's a good one. Just dwell on the beautiful memories. You know what I mean? Thank you. And Because it's all right there. All of the feelings are right there within you. The concept's a little different when you don't have the form. It's quite helpful for grief and stuff. It was really good for me. Any advice for a court case I have coming up? Oh. Crippled by a place badly and fighting for justice. Ooh. Summer. Okay. I've never had to deal with that in a court case. If anyone has any... Oh, Sarah's texting me. If anyone has any advice here, here's what you do for court when you got to battle the lawyers. We're going to get a little wizardy, okay? Real wizardy. Because this is a highly spiritual live. You are going to change the reality of your situation. You are not going to battle, but you are going to flow through by creating the sensation of, this is exactly what the fuck is happening within you. Like, to really get your heart going to being like, I am winning this case. Like, this case is won. And I am grateful for everything that is I'm being taken care of through this thing. None of these suits are what you say, intimidating. None of these suits are intimidating because these suits are just filled with little bags of meat with people with a bunch of fancy words. And that judge is going to be judging based on how you feel and what truth is. So if your truth from the inside is, this is one and I'm grateful and I'm not trying anything, but it is done, then you are flowing through and setting the energy of exactly what's going to happen. So you got to get a little wizardy about that shit, you know? Keep a nice crystal in your pocket. Give a little sniff from time to time during the court case. And remember, those suits, nothing but bags of meat. All right? Those suits don't even look that good on them. Probably wearing them all lame, you know? All frumpy ass. Like, just look at them. Look at the cut, you know? And be like, you slacker. Look at you, little bitch. And just... That's what I would do if I was in that situation. Does anybody else have any actual advice? I don't know if I should be offering advice on legal cases, but I would definitely recommend just, okay, good, happy laughing. Just laugh it. Keep that with you. Just imagine Daniel here on a live while you're in court. And know that there are just little bags of meat that will bend to your will. Don't count your chickens. Need help. I don't want to get vaccinated and mandated, but I have a strong call to go to Bali and need it. I'm not getting paid enough for this shit, you know? I don't actually get paid any. I make like $3 a live sometimes. I'll be on here for 3 hours and make $3. 65 cents, you know, something like that. Because it's not about that. I think it's funny. Also, TikTok has never accepted my driver's license. I've been on here for months, and for whatever reason, those bastards will not accept my... It's a picture of me on a license, right? Do they accept it? No. No, they don't. Do I know why? No. Can you contact TikTok for any reason? No. Is it like talking to a robot that doesn't speak your language? Yes. Is everything an auto response? Yes. Do they give a shit? No. I've done multiple lives and made multiple 63 cents, and I have no idea where that money is, all right? What makes more money on lives? I don't know. Listen, I mean, I appreciate the roses and stuff. I think that's great. I love it that you do that. I just don't know how to get that money. If you want to just, like, because you like the videos, you feel that I put a little coffee link. Like, you can buy me a coffee for people that are like, I like your videos. Here's a coffee. And it just always makes me smile, you know? It doesn't, like, keep the lights on. It just buys me a coffee. But it makes me smile that somebody appreciated it. So that's totally something you can do if you want. Okay. You need the spiritual help. It's just what I needed, the spiritual help. Oh, this is a highly spiritual. Do you guys feel more spiritual now? Hey, if you're just joining up, this candle here is for Kush. He is a loved one who passed on, and his lovely wife is here hanging out. I don't know where she is. But we are sending all the good vibes her way. So, send them. Keep sending them, guys. Whenever you see that candle, just be like, man, girl, I got you. I love you. Blast her. You know? Because that's hard. That's just 65 cents. Hey, are you speaking in tongues? Do what you got to do. Count the chickens. Yeah, I'm not answering any vaccine thing. I don't get into the politics of things. Hey, who's a fan of those green glasses? Where did you get them? Right here. These are from Crap Eyewear. I was wearing these amazing green goblins. They're called the Super Freaks from Crap Eyewear in a video that got popular. And then Crap Eyewear followed me, and I was like, yes. Because I kept tagging them, you know, where'd you get the glasses? And I was like, Crap Eyewear. And then they sent me 4 other pairs of glasses. All the glasses I wear, I've never bought a single pair. These were gifted to me by the meditation circle. I was there cleaning up early. I was doing a meditation circle for like 18 months. I was there every morning at 6:30. And I'd go meditate first and clean up the trash. And then we'd sit and meditate. But I just like to have it ready and like kind of energetically safe for people to come in. And yeah, because they know I'm a fucking wizard. That's why they wouldn't take my license. Anyway, one morning I was cleaning up all the shit, and there was these glasses sitting there on the bench, and I was like, I thought it was trash at first because it was pitch black out there. And I'm like, these seem like glasses. And these are all blown out now, but I was like, opened them, and they were like, you know, I was like, those are freshies. Those are some fresh sunnies. And then I looked at them with my iPhone flashlight, and there was no grease. It didn't even look like someone had worn them. I think if they had, they probably put a little pad of cotton right here and then put them on, because there was absolutely like not a single bit of goo on them. Fresh as could be. Like someone just put them there. Like they weren't even misty. They were dry. Right? This is at the beach. And so I left them on the little pillar where somebody could find them for the meditation circle, and everybody came and they left, and I was like, well, I guess I got a new pair of glasses. And then I was wearing them in that video, and Crap Eyewear sent me more glasses because there was a lot of them, because people saw them and liked them, and they got a lot of follows and stuff. So I haven't bought a single pair of those glasses. It's the wildest thing, huh? Okay. You got HIV from the Freedom Rally? I don't know what the Freedom Rally is, but I'm sorry. Bum, 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 bum. I would love to do your course and pay for your private coaching. Yeah, hit up my website. It's easy because mostly it's easy because I just really haven't dedicated a lot of time to building the website out. It's just danieltyack.com. Not because I'm undisciplined. It's just I just didn't care. I wanted to go skate instead. And so it's basically just one single page with a contact form and like a bullshit about section, I think. I don't think there's anything on there. But there's a contact form, and if you fill it out, you say, I'm having some issues with, whatever, some relationships, some trauma. I don't know who I am anymore. I've gone through some heavy stuff. Anything, honestly. Today I had a call with a gal in Kuwait in the service. She was in a bunker. She escaped her platoon or something to get on an emotional alchemy call. That was a good one. I had a call with a gal, lovely gal, who we worked on. It was fun. After she was done, she was like, I gotta go paint. She's like this rad artist. And she painted this beautiful painting of like her emotions and the stuff we've brought up. And I was like, that's phenomenal. And another gal was in person because she's in San Diego. So we came here and she cried a bunch. And she's going to do her next session with the lovely Sarah. I'm really excited to do the combo back and forth with people. So if you guys need help working out your shit, I know a guy. Just hit my website up. Yeah. You can work with me one-on-one. I'm not like that booked out. I can do 2 to 3 a day, and then I'm like, I'm dead inside emotionally. And that's honestly like 5 hours of sitting on the floor, like really tapping in with people hard, and it takes a lot. So, but there's some days I don't even have calls. Some days like, well, I guess I'm gonna go, do the dishes or something or skate. Do I have an opinion on psychedelics? Somebody really wants. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna talk about psychedelics. Psychedelics are cool, or if you're not ready for psychedelics, super not cool. So, dude. Yes. Yeah, wait, Beck? On the podcast? Am I on your podcast? I'm doing a podcast. I'm booked on the Friday. Which podcast is this? Am I on your podcast? I'll do a podcast. Well, like you too there, I love money. If we can work out good time between the Australia and the USA time zones, I would love. Yeah, I keep it real loose. King, if somebody has the names of Gatorades, I'm not talking about psychedelics. Yeah, we can be friends on here. Bam. Sometimes I friend people and then they send me a bunch of videos and stuff, and I'm like, that's not exactly what I expected. I hate that TikTok Messenger so much. It's like I already have enough messages. I don't want more TikTok messages. And if I want to look at videos, I'm going to just go on my page of people I'm following or my For You page. But I don't usually, I honestly don't really look at it that much, to tell you the truth. I just post my videos and I look at comments and I do lives because I love them. And they're pretty great. All right, psychedelics. You guys want to talk about psychedelics? You will not send any more escape videos. Did you send me the one of the old man? Is that you? Maybe it was. I love that one. I've seen it a million times though because everybody sends it to me on every single platform. Psychedelics. Here's what psychedelics do. I had a whole video on this on my TikTok if you saw it. Psychedelics mess with your neural receptivity and they take out your ego, your perception of the way things should be. And then you are left in the state of feeling all the things of everything, all the world around you, depending on the psychedelic and how deep you've gone. So all of a sudden you feel like your feelings, things you've been suppressing, or maybe you have a new thought process because it opened up neuroplasticity. You can learn things about yourself. Sometimes they take you into heavy places of your feelings, and that's great. Like, get it out. But then people are like, oh, I had a bad trip. And it's like, no, you just have some shitty emotions in there that are now out because you don't have your same like psychic blocks, your energetic blocks set up through your ego because you've been suppressing them your whole life. Now you're feeling them because all of those feelings are nothing more than subconscious memories. They're feeling memories that have been pushed into your subconscious through either traumatic events, some synaptic burnout or synaptic pruning from just simply suppressing the thoughts. Because when we suppress thoughts, just like if you study for a college exam, you cram everything in there and you forget it all like 6 months later. Same thing happens in your REM cycles of sleep. These little brain bots go through and they're like, hey, anybody using this memory? And they're like, nah, that motherfucker hasn't thought about that for like a year. And they're like, snip. Goes away in your active thought. Your active thought are your alpha waves of consciousness. Your alpha waves of consciousness are simply brain waves, right? And when we're talking about brain waves, we're talking about frequencies and hertz. Yep, the 92-year-old guy, I love that guy, and I appreciate you sending me that video. But I just sometimes, oh, thank you. Me? I'll take it. We were talking about psychedelics. For the first time, okay. Planning on doing mushrooms for the first time. Do you have, you just made out an account. Do you have any advice? Do whatever the fuck you want. Like, don't try to follow all the fancy stuff. Do whatever feels true to you. Don't try to get likes. Now, don't try to get follows. Just be real and authentic and like say what's on your heart. And that'll connect in a big way. That'll be meaningful for people. You might not grow as fast, but who the fuck cares if you grow fast and it's just a stupid following? Like, get meaningful followers by being a meaningful person, Yeah, well, then just do that. And the more authentic you can be about it, the better it'll be. Okay, mushrooms on Friday. Are you excited to do mushrooms on Friday? Have you prepped your heart and your mind and your soul? Because, I'm going to follow you. We're friends now. Mushrooms they're going to teach you what they want to teach you. And what I mean by what they want to teach you is you're going to teach you what you need to learn. Because mushrooms, they open up all that stuff, all those emotions and things you've been holding on to, or maybe they just take you to a beautiful place, If you're doing a high dose, then you are, outside of, it's just more than your consciousness can grok, and then you might be just rolling around on the floor for a little while, so make sure you have a guide. You'll have an experience that is outside of what you perceive of as reality because it knocks out that consciousness, those alpha waves, or it doesn't knock them out. They're still there. You're still like conscious, but you also have everything else, like all of the other energies of you. When you see kaleidoscope-like patterns and geometric fractals and things like that, that's the energy of everything. It's the energy of things that your brain is perceiving as something that should have come in the optic nerve, but because everything's a little bit screwy, it's showing you like a visual of energy. So you might see a kaleidoscope of you and your energy, and you could practice just making it very peaceful and awesome, and then you'll feel very peaceful and awesome in your body. If it's all messed up, maybe there's some emotional stuff that's all messed up. What else is interesting about psychedelics? I mean, mushrooms really, those are the fun ones because you just never know what you're going to get, Like, they're always going to teach you what you need. And don't ever think that mushrooms are going to fix you. Don't ever think that psychedelics are going to fix you. They're going to teach you something about yourself. And they're going to teach you a new way to feel something. But the only way to fix you is to come back to this plane right here where we're very highly spiritual, because this is the highly spiritual night, and integrate that feeling with your present reality. So that's when you learn on psychedelics. You integrate. You come back to Earth School from other school and figure out how to be. Let's see. Just want to say you love your stuff. Great vibes. Thank you. You feel ready. Good. Been on the heart. Good. Do you have a guide? And how deep you going? Do I do them every now and then? I used to. I practice. You're going to the bed. You go to my bed. Oh, you're not going to bed right now, but you go to bed for dream magic. That's good. We had a spaceman, Arizona spaceman. We were talking about trauma one night, and he had a dream that night that he battled like a goblin thing with a knife, and he fought it to the death, and it was terrifying. And the next morning, hey, hello. The next morning he got up and he felt like lighter, and he felt like ready to, he was just like, it was like he healed trauma in his dream, this like imagery of trauma, like whatever it was he was battling with. And it was kind of almost like a mushroom trip where you don't really know what it is sometimes. It's just like some feelings, Oh, that's another thing about psychedelics. If you get into some like what you would consider a bad trip and you feel like you're going to die, just die. It's okay. Like you're just on psychedelics. Allow it. You feel like your body's going to disappear and you're going to turn into a space fart, just allow it. It's okay. Those are elements of your ego that are dying. Those are attachments to form. Those are attachments to your way things should be. So when you allow yourself to pass through that gauntlet of fear, you learn to let go of your ego and your form. So you really feel a lot freer after that, and then the bad trip doesn't hang on. So it's surrender to it. Whatever the thing is, surrender. And just be like, well, here we go. Boop. And then when you come out, you've learned to let go of whatever that proverbial bullshit is that you've been holding on to, because in that psychedelic state, it is a different kind of consciousness. It is not the consciousness you're perceiving through your alpha waves, because those psychedelics have done fucked that shit up, You don't mess around with them like if you're not like ready. I mean, I guess if you want to, you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. Speaking of which, check in. How old are you guys? Who's the oldest? Who's the youngest? Let me know who I'm talking to right now. Somebody asked if I do them. I practiced with psychedelics. I did some guided stuff with a psychedelic witch I was dating for a little while. 16, 19, 26, 21, 25. Oh, it's not old talk tonight. Usually it's like 45, 54. There's my 54. Who's this user? 8143 something or another? 34, 47. Oh, those are my peoples. 22, 26 as of yesterday. What's your name? Natterman? You know what time it is, Natterman? Happy birthday to you. We're not calling you Natterman, Natalie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Natterman. Happy birthday to you. Okay. Happy birthday, Natterman. It was my friend Kat's birthday yesterday, too. You got that Pisces-Aries cusp thing going on. A little soft, a little fiery. Yeah? Tell me about it, Natterman. Hey, now, 46 not old. No, I'm 43. 17 in May 5th. All right, Natterman. I'm 43, and I've never been younger, honestly. Even when I was like, maybe when I was 23, I'm like probably the most agile and like rat I've ever been in my life. Like the strongest in body and mind and heart and everything. And yeah, when I was skating when I was younger, I could definitely take some hits a little bit better. Like when you fall off something big and eat it in the asphalt. When I do that now, it's not quite the same. It's like, it's more painful for longer. But you can get over it. Like, you don't have to live like that. You just pass it on through. Why do you think astrology has become so popular? Because, I don't know. It's cool. You guys want to talk about astrology and what astrology is? Magnets, bitches. Let's talk astrology. Here you are, right? Just skipping along one day. A thought. A glimmer in your parent's eye. Don, get on the board, bro. Motherfucker. We're talking about astrology. Don't distract me. And then all of a sudden your parents had sex. And then you were a little embryo growing. Now this embryo is made out of magnets. and atomic energy, because all of those atoms are just nothing but spinning electrons, spinning at an incredible rate to create an atomic field of nothingness, right? We talked about that. And all of those atomic fields have a magnetic pull. I mean, the way electricity works and current flow works is you got this little electron jump from atom to atom, boop, 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 and there's a current flow. So they're constantly swapping. They're really, really swapping electrons around there in those atoms. And as they're spinning and creating the cells and stuff, all the little baby parts of you-ness, there's other magnetic forces at play. Your mom, your dad, people around you, you know, they're kind of magnets too. And then you have this big old magnet of the earth, right? But then you got the big one, the big one, the sun. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a big one. 98 million miles away. No atmosphere, meaning it doesn't have any oxygen, meaning there's nothing to heat up. And even though it looks like it's burning, it's probably nothing but radioactive energy, probably at like negative 472 degrees. Temperature of space. It's a vacuum. Like there's no atmosphere there. It's just radioactive energy. It's like staring at a nuclear blast. Like you don't look at it, you know, directly, because it's burn those little retinas of yours. And so those little photons, no, we won't talk about the photons. They heat the atmosphere up like a microwave, in case you were wondering. That's the way microwaves work. It's a microwave. It's a waveform, hertz, frequency, ultra-high frequency. Actually, it's microwave, not ultra-high frequencies. That's a different band in the bandwidth. But you get the idea. But the sun's a big damn magnet, you know? And you're spinning around the sun all the time. Have you noticed? Just constantly spinning around the sun. And so this little baby embryo is like doing the magnet thing. And all those little electrons are like getting yanked around by the sun. Fuck. You know, they get yanked all around. And then here you are. Bloop. Right in this like critical stage of development. All the sun and the planets and stuff, all these magnets spinning around in space, you know? You think they're far away, but there's some pull. And then all of a sudden there you are. And it's like however those atoms arranged from all that fuckery of getting yanked around by these giant space magnets. Now there's you feeling a certain way, you know? Oh, hey, I'm on the Pisces Aries cusp if I was born yesterday, like Nattertown. And am I an atheist? Let's realize it's just accepted everything is everything. Yeah, then you believe in God, because that's everything. It's just a different definition. Like, people just believe in God as a man with a face and a beard because they're a man, like your man form. So they make an idol of themselves and they say, here's God. Meanwhile, there he is right there. There he is right there. Here he is right here in this little vibration. All of it. I don't see any fucking beards. All I see is a sweet mustache on this little bit of godness, huh? Let's do a zoom in. You see that? Now you know what I'm talking about. Okay. And we're back to astrology. Anyway, the magnets in space are spinning around and yanking your atoms this way and that when you're developing, and then you plop out and it's like, there you are. You're an Aries, or whatever. You're a Pisces, you're a Virgo. And then you have these other houses. You're not just your sun sign, right? The sun's the biggest one. That's just the big motherfucker up there. So, of course, it's like the big magnet is the most effective one. And also it's giving us all of the energy that we use to live and process and things like that. We'd be dead without it, truly. No life. Can you believe it? We are nothing but radioactive energy that has been shot through space in the form of photons, hitting our atmosphere and getting diffused into the entire bandwidth of frequencies. All of it. God, everywhere. Highly spiritual. The whole damn thing. Anyways, you got different houses. And these different houses is like, oh, my something or another's in Uranus, you know? And my other thing's up on this bitch, and all the different astrology terms. And, you know, like for me, my moon is a Taurus. I'm a Pisces sun. I was born March 4th, and then my moon is a Taurus moon. because when I was born, the constellation of Taurus was in the sky at a particular motherfucking location doing this magnetic pull, and the moon was in it. Maybe it was like the bull's nuts or something like that. I hope so. That would be cool. It was up in that constellation. And so my moon energy is very Taurus-y because my atoms were like, getting Taurusized. And then my ascendant is in Scorpio. I don't really know where the ascendant comes from. That's your exact time of birth based on your exact moment of where you were within the solar system. Because it's all dependent on, it's a lot of spinning to get this right. There's a lot of math involved. Really, I don't know how Hermes figured this out. Like, that guy was a badass. So you're spinning on the Earth, right? Spinny, spin, spin. All your atoms are spinning. Everything's really spinny. And then you're spinning around the sun. And then the other planets are spinning too. Right? And then there's other shit going on. It gets wild out there. And so you have like these temperaments and stuff. It's not really who you are as a person, and you can change that shit because you're an infinite being. But you have all these like basic temperaments of how you feel based on how the magnets were like pulling your little baby strings and stuff. And then when you're older, you can look at, like a horoscope or something and be like, yeah, that kind of feels the way I feel right now. I'm like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, you're made out of water. And if you look at I live near the beach, and it's the weirdest thing. Check this out. When the moon is full, those tides are like, way out and way up. Because the moon is more directly over them, so there's more magnetic pull. It's not hiding behind the Earth a little bit. It's just like giving it the straight shot. Or the sun moon bounce thing. I don't know how it works. And then when it's like not so full, the tides are like, it's cool, bro. You're also made out of a bunch of water, so I gotta think that you're getting yanked around too by this magnetic pull or energy or however it works. So anyway, these planets get into different configurations, and you hear something's in retrograde, right? Mercury's in retrograde, and everybody's like, that's why I'm a bitch. And it's like, nah, you're just a bitch. But it does affect you. Because what happens is these planets line up, Mercury's over here, and it lines up behind this one, and it makes a space laser of magnets, and just like, motherfucker. And then all your atoms are like, oh, God. That's how astrology works, kids. Does anyone have any other questions? Man, you guys said way too much stuff. Gravity. Tiny bits of water in the brain. Gravity from our galaxy affects all. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Happy birthday to our friend. Oh, we're still back at that part where Don wasn't on his board. Embarrassing. Trips are out that the moon is rusting? What? The moon's rusting? Rusting is an oxidization process. And to have oxidization for any ferrous or like a non-ferrous metal, I mean oxidization is a a non-ferrous metal, but how do you have that without there's no atmosphere, right? There's no like water. How's the moon rusting? Don, you're going back to your wife, huh? You guys gonna have the sex? I hope so. Okay, atheists. Oh, we talked about that. Keep talking. Love you describing this. Daniel getting yanked like an electron did it for me. Yeah. We still want to talk about magnets and stuff? Let's talk about magnets. Let's see the glasses, okay. Let's talk about magnets, bitches. Let's talk about frequencies, because we're getting spiritual up in this thing. This is one of the things. I'm just going to talk. I'm not going to read these comments. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's talk about spirituality. I got some right here for you. I got a whole bowl of spirituality. You ready? Did you hear the spirits? I know you do. I hope you're listening on earbuds, and then you can hear the phasing of the spirits. There's an evil one, careful. So what's a spirit? But an energy? And all the hippies are always like, oh, I'm going to raise my vibration. I'm going to get so vibraty. You know? But what does that mean? Like, no hippies know what they're talking about. A vibration? Are you shaking? This is a vibration. What is the vibration of this? How many times a second is this vibrating? Because that's going to create the frequency. Then you have your hertz, the amplitude of the frequency, the frequency. So here's how it works. I take the dinger and I hit the ringer. And then the lip of this bowl goes like this. Very fast. Way faster than I can move my hand. Technically, this one is about 433 times a second nominal. I tested it on a spectrum analyzer. And so it goes, it whacks the sound wave, the little air molecules around in the form of a sound wave. And because of the resonance of it, because it's a bowl, like I could hit something else, this one's not going to work. With not a good shape, and it's just like, that's more of the wood, honestly, than it sucks. It's like not even a good one. But if you have this bowl symmetrically shaped, right, out of brass, it's real hard, so it's got a good nice ding with the ring. So what happens is that edge of the bowl goes floppity flop in space, in the air. It's air spirits, sound spirits. This is what we're talking about, sound spirits. So Chris is here. So floppity flops, and it whacks around all of the air molecules. And the reason this one sounds a little bit like warbly, because they probably had some poor child hammer this thing out in Vietnam, right? Because you don't have brass foundries in the United States. It's way too environmentally toxic. Like, they don't exist. You got to go to Vietnam or China for this stuff. India as well. But typically it's in Vietnam for brass foundries, in case you're wondering. This is more of a bronze, but bronze is part brass. Anyway, neither here nor there for the metallurgy. We're talking about frequencies. So this one has that warbliness to it, because this side of the bowl is vibrating, and then that vibration shakes around over here and then vibrates this, and then they're out of phase with each other. They're not vibrating exactly the same. So there's like air molecules fighting in the air. They're having like a space fight, you know, lasers, and just like, fuck off, bro. Get him in the neck, you know, like, get that fucker. They're just gang fighting. That's why it's the warble sound. That's actually air molecules having a space fight. If you ring a dinger like this, it's not as much of a space fight, because it's just real organized. See the difference? I'm going to slow it down for you guys at home. If you bing a linger like this, you can actually see it vibrating, right? Because that's not vibrating very fast. It's longer, so it has a lower pitch. You know, if I fretted it up, you almost can't see it vibrating, but you can hear it at a higher pitch. It's vibrating faster. So that's kind of the edge of the bowl. You see that, like, wubbada, 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 wubbada. The reason that you can't see the edge of the bowl is because it's vibrating at 433 times every given second, and the frame rate of TikTok is probably some, you know, bullshit 20 frames a second, because we're broadcasting it through space, and like Steve Jobs' ghost and Elon Musk are wrestling an alien all buttered up in a pool, weird little spandex thongs and stuff on. It's crazy shit up there, and then it beams it back to you onto your device. And then so what happens is I ding the dinger with the ringer. It shakes all the air molecules around, and all those air molecules go thuk, 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 and they hit each other. Gang fight part, you know? It's just getting crazy. And they fight, and they fight, and they fight, and then some of them get to the speaker thing in here, and it's like, and that little resonance from the speaker goes, and it hits the analog digital converter button, and it turns it into a pattern of ones and zeros. All right, and then it goes into probably 5 gigahertz. Let me see. Yeah, I'm on 5G. So we have 5 gigahertz. When a gigahertz is, what is it, a million? Yeah, it's a million. Kilohertz is 1,000. Is it gigahertz 10,000 or a million? It's a fucking lot, right? It's an ultra high frequency, which is just part of God. It's literally like the same shit the sun's spitting out all the time. It's just a focused frequency, just like a microwave heats up the molecules of water in your food by introducing microwaves. They're part of the same spirit, the same bandwidth. Like the radio goes through that. The police radios, the FAA radios go through that, all of it. The cell phone stuff, big towers, right? With radios on them, creating frequencies. Some of it, none of it's like a radioactive isotope. I mean, it's all radio frequencies, but you get it. You have to have it. It's a different event for it to have an isotope that gets you the stuff. Now, you can get burned by high amplitude radiation. Neither here nor there. Anyway, Steve Jobs and Elon Musk are buttered up and wrestling an alien, and it comes back down to you after the analog to bit conversion process, which is all ones and zeros. Because to split, we're talking about the different sides of this bowl, right? How they're out of phase and they sound warbly. This one's vibrating kind of at a different rate than this. To get a frequency to go through fucking space and transmit data, they have to transition it into little packets, right? So one waveform goes up with part of the information, one waveform goes down, and then they cross and they magnetically propel each other forward and they go, and it's confusing as shit in radio land. For real. What's up, Bree? We're talking about some analog digital conversion process. That's where we're at. So then it goes into the ones and zeros, which is much easier to keep the data straight in digital, because it's not just these waveforms that you have to perfectly time out through radios. Like, that's kind of scary. So it goes into digital. Now, the problem with the digital stuff is it just takes so many damn ones and zeros to transmit all that information that you actually drop a lot of the frequencies. So the dinger-ringer situation here that I'm dinging and ringing is not the same as you're hearing. It's actually losing a lot of frequencies in the process, but, you know, whatever. And then it gets to the speaker of your phone and or your earbuds, and it goes, and it whacks around the air molecules at your house or place of business or your car or wherever you're listening to this. And all those air molecules go through space, right? It's like those little clickers on the desk when you pull the ball up and it goes, same thing, just different. All those air molecules creates a sound wave of sound. Spirits, sound spirits, and then the vibration that I created here through the dinger and the ringer, after the analog digital conversion process and buttered up space wrestling, goes and whacks air molecules around in your house, and then they hit your eardrum, which there's another one of those in there, like the same as in your phone right here, and then it goes at 433 times a second. Well, that's the nominal. You can hear the warble in it. This is much more accurate. I don't know what this is, but it's not so warbly. Much more of a, like the what is it called? The Q? Yeah. The Q, and that's like the curve of the EQ. It's like a better Q structure. No, it's not the Q. Yeah, it is the Q. What is it called on like a parametric EQ? Like the structure of I think it's called the Q, the structure of how it comes. Neither here nor there. And then it hits your eardrum at 433 times a second, and then your ear bone from the eardrum that's connected to the eardrum's connected to the ear bone pokes your brain right in the brain spot, just and your brain goes, oh, I'm hearing sound. It's a vibration. Meanwhile, the hippies are like, I'm going to raise my frequency. And they don't even know what a fucking frequency is. Like, what's a frequency? That's the oscillations per given second. How many times it wubba-dubs in a second, like a wubba-dubba-lub-lubs? So how are you going to raise your frequency? What is that? How are you going to apply that? And how are you going to be extra highly spiritual if you don't even know what a frequency is? That's just some ethereal concept. That's like saying, I'm going to raise my foozle. That's not even a thing. That's a word I made up. How are you going to raise your foozle if you don't even know what the concept is? Anyway, so all of your emotions, thank you for roses, and all of your energy centers of your chakras, what's wrong with a particular frequency? In fact, I was way off. We're going to read about your chakra, your Kakra chakra. So let's just take, for instance, here. We have our Manipura. That's your solar plexus chakra. Element of fire. The color is yellow. The structural representation of the lotus is 10 petals, in case you didn't know that. The Bhaji mantra is Ram. I don't know what that means. It's developed age 14 to 21. So if you've had some traumas in the ages of 14 to 21, you may have some of your life force blocked. The gland is the pancreas. Where's the frequency, you motherfuckers? God, this book sucks. I really thought it would tell me the frequency. We gotta dig a little deeper. This is a good one. Good Lord, John. No, okay. Everybody pray to whoever you want to pray to, because that's just manipulating the quantum field. Pray that I will find the frequencies of these by just flipping through here. Because each energy center of your body has a particular frequency. And what's a frequency? But an oscillation per given second, right? And now here's when it gets really stupid. The whole time concept is an illusion, right? Like, what's a second, right? When did the second start? Like, how do you get a second? Like, why don't we just call it a foozle, you know? So the frequencies and the oscillations per given second is a totally relative thing. So it's all a shit show. Even when you figure it out, you're like, yeah, I figured it out. And it's like, wait a minute. Damn it. I'm going to find this. I know that there's the frequencies for these. There's a cute picture. What's that all about? Oh, third eye chakra. Blocked, active, deficiency. Please, please, please. I know there's a frequency chart. Okay. False alarm. Come on. Oh. Ew. So these are waveforms, right? That's a frequency. Imagining this is a given second. See, remember when I was talking about packets of data information that you have to split it up between the frequencies and broadcast them on two different bandwidths so you don't have interference, and then it gets patched back together on the other end. That's how radio works. Huh? No. God, this is the worst live ever. Chakra 6. Ooh, there's some Kundalini energy spinning around. You want to see it? Here's how the chakra spins. See? You get a little, see this rotation of energy? These guys believe that it spins like this. And it goes back and forth like the snakes of Kundalini. The same thing as the snakes on the Western medical staff. The same thing as the snakes of lore of Abraham, or whoever did the snake thing in the Bible. It's all from the same, it's all the same. It's all the exact same concepts described differently. Where's the frequency? Anyway, failed you. All of your chakras resonate at a particular frequency. 364 hertz? That's super low. That's like root or less. Because this is 433 relative pitch, or relative frequency when I ran it on a spectrum analyzer, which is, I mean, I could call it 432. It's like frequency of Earth, but that's like sacral down here. So each of your energy centers have a particular vibration. And we talk about, oh, I'm going to raise my vibration, because they're thinking about things like, oh, I'm going to go up to like third eye connectedness, consciousness, and stuff like that. But what are all those vibrations but brain waves, you know? 128 hertz, that's like, you're dead. No, it's all a range, you know? It's all a range. Like, each chakra is like a range of hertz. Like, you're just a big range. Just like everything is just a big range. All of it's a big shit show. And it's all relative. I mean, we're talking about frequency for a given second. Like we're talking about raising our vibration based on a concept that's a construct. Like, who thinks like that? Hippies do. But I like the idea of like, oh, I'm going to raise my vibration, which basically means for all of the rest of you that I'm going to burn some sage real quick if we're going to talk about hippie stuff. No, Palo Santo. For the rest of you that don't understand frequencies and things, all it means is you're just going to have a better attitude, right? And you're not going to be a dick. So, if you're being a dick and you're saying you're raising your frequency, what are you talking about? It just means have a good attitude, you know? And all of you guys that are trying to jump dimensions, get in the 5th dimension, get some 5G up in your 5D, like, what does that mean? A dimension? Are you going to jump through a portal? Or could it be just a state of consciousness of saying, I'm not going to have a bad attitude and I'm going to deal with my own shit? Could be that. That'd be an easier way to describe it. 528. 528 is kind of up. Yeah, that's probably solar plexus, like relative frequency in that range. Yeah? Does that make sense to you guys? Are you guys following? You want to be on my frequency? Note the pun. Are you guys following this? Anybody? What frequency is a heart chakra? That's like 700-ish, something in there. It's all a range, you know? The higher it goes, the faster it vibrates. And that's where we get the whole from darkness to light, right? But you can't have one without the other, and it all goes back around into itself. So that's why we're talking about, I'm going to become a light being. I'm going to raise my frequency. Well, the higher and higher it gets on the color spectrum, the more it turns to just white light because it's vibrating, and then it turns into infrared light. So how high are you going to go? You're going to go all the way up to microwaves where you're like vibrating air molecules? Like, just check the ham radio instruction manual book. We got to have a frequency spectrum in here. This is all about frequencies. Please give me a good picture. Not of this guy, but look at that handsome man. A little ham history. You guys want to read about it? I do. Ham radio has changed a lot in the 100+ years since radio's inception. Bet you didn't know that. In the past 25 years, we've seen some monumental changes. So before we get started preparing for the exam, we're going to give a little history lesson. All right, let's find some frequencies. I just want a map of the frequency spectrum so you guys maybe have a slight grasp of how fucked we are trying to come up with answers to things. Because it's a shit show out there, kids. Nope. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that give you a brain boner? Ah. Oh. God. There's some waveforms. Oh, see, here we go. I mean, it's not a map, you know, but you see here? It's obvious. We have very low frequencies and low frequencies. That's 300 kilohertz, right? Now, that's still really fucking high because we're talking about hertz here and frequencies and the chakra stuff. But when it gets up into the radio waves, this is outside of the spectrum. There's nothing, you couldn't see anything if a photon was vibrating this fast. It would just be outside of your perception, outside of what you understand. And even as you think of things as like going into white, like, oh, I'm going to vibrate at a super high frequency. I'm going to turn into white light. Like, that's bullshit when it comes to frequencies. Like, they go way farther than that shit. Like, that's just what you're perceiving through your optical nerve based on your alpha brainwaves, which is your ego. Like, you're talking about, I'm going to be a light worker. It's like, that's low frequency as fuck. That's like down in the dirt compared to a frequency spectrum. So if you're really like trying to raise a frequency, like you got to get up into microwaves land, you know, where you're like agitating the air, the water molecules and stuff, and you can heat up a burrito with your mind. So you hippies got to raise your game, you know, you got to raise your frequency. if you can't zap a burrito with your mind, like, fuck off, you know? Like, you're not even a hippie. Are you guys talking about anything cool? What do I think about Nikola Tesla? He's smart, way smarter than anybody I know. What's the deal with the music and how it messes with frequency? What? Music is frequency. Sound waves. What's it messing with? What's a frequency? But an oscillation per second. And a second is... Oh, wait, we got a best comment? Yeah, well, that's because Business Tofu is dogma killer extraordinaire. That's what I do. Thoughts on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? I haven't read it, honestly. Yes. Man, I want to find this best comment. What frequency is the heart chakra? That was the comment? That was the best. Oh, yeah, I guess I could have. Okay, let's kill some more dogmas. What else do you guys want to... This one's like kind of grape. I've been practicing. Every time I sniff it, it actually just smells like a rock. You guys want to learn about geology? I failed math, but we're going to learn. But I'm conditioning my nose sensories, olfactory processing centers, to make this smell like a grape, right? And eventually, I'm going to trick my mind into raising this into grape frequencies. So every time I sniff it, it's going to smell like grape bubblegum. Wouldn't that be cool? You can do that. You can really fuck with your mind, like your own mind, like, because it's all your own perspective. Everything that you perceive is all your perspective. I mean, you want to talk about frequencies and perception? You really can mess yourself up. So here's what it comes down to in the hippie land. If you want to raise your frequency, you want to be a light worker, you want to go into the fifth dimension, just have a better attitude about life. Realize that you're all your own bullshit and everything is your own perception, right? And whatever you're perceiving is way smaller than what actually is. And the whole point that you think you're different by being more highly spiritual is literally the original sin. That's separation from God. That's saying, oh, this is lesser and this is greater, when it's the whole fucking thing. The knowledge of good and evil. Oh, if I do this spiritual practice, I will arrive. You are arrived, bitches. You're entirely arrived. Completely and totally. And the only thing that keeps you from being is your lack of arrival. And you're thinking that you are separate. And you're thinking that you need to raise your frequency when all you have to do is be. Like, read a book. Dude, if people stopped watching the news, then we wouldn't be fighting. But guess what? There was this place called Rome. You ever heard of it? 1,000-Year Reign? Completely set the entirety of Western culture. And you know what those motherfuckers did? Here's what they did. They instilled a misinformation campaign long ago because they realized, okay, there's only a few of us, like in our cute little skirts, riding around in our golden-ass chariots with our little swords. There's not that many of us. And if the peasants actually figured that out, they would wipe us from the face of this earth. Right? And we're like going to Elysium and doing our psychedelics because that's what they were all about in their religion. So what they did was, because the peasants were fucking idiots, they instilled the Roman Catholic Church and said, okay, guys, if you don't believe this shit, you're going to hell and you're going to die forever. And the only people that can tell you what this shit is the only people that can tell you what's in this little dinger are the priests. Because this is an illiterate culture where nobody knows how to read. And because everybody's separate and it's not the information age and we don't have the internet and we don't have the Elon Musk wrestling the ghost of Steve Jobs in a vat of butter with an alien, nobody has the satellite communication. So they're left with this thing called the Roman roads. And the Roman chariot guys ride down the fucking roads and they go with their little swords, and they go to this town and they're like, did you hear you're gonna fucking go to hell because we got this book here and there's a priest with a funny hat and he looks like God because he's all in white and he's got some gems and stuff, and they're like, oh my God, you know, guys out digging in the mud and stuff. And if they didn't believe it, if someone was like, that seems kind of like bullshit, you know what they did? They just whacked them. They had the big knights with the armor. The knights in the armor weren't for fighting each other. That's the most like inefficient way to do combat ever. Like, think about wearing all that armor and actually trying to be agile. Like, seriously. Like that's why the Romans had the whole like fast short sword thing, so they could actually be agile, and they just had like leather plates and things. The knights were not for fighting. They were for mowing down the peasants. That's why they had the long sword, so they could just be on horseback. And as everybody was throwing rocks and shit at them, they were okay. They were like impervious Iron Man situation. And so they're like, hey guys, you got to believe this shit. Misinformation campaign put together by the Roman Catholic Church at the end of the end of the Roman Empire, about 200 years before it fully collapsed. 300 years after Christ's death, they put in the things like the original sin. Oh, you're separate from God if you look at the good and evil. Hey guys, don't look into the occult. What does the occult mean? Oh, is that scary? Is that a scary word? Occult? Occult. Do you know what the definition for occult is? Secret teachings. Secret fucking teachings. That's all it means. So they're like, okay, this is the only teaching because we burned all the other shit and we kill you with a sword thing. We're going to stab you or send this knight guy over here that you can't even knock off his horse with a rock because he's covered in metal with this big-ass sword. You can't even reach him with your little farm tools, and he's going to thunk, just whack you. And he didn't have to kill you. He just maim you. Fuck your shit right up, you know? I mean, what are you wearing, a little burlap sack? Because you're a peasant? Same thing as we are now. So they sent their little chariot guys out to different villages, and they were like, did you hear this bullshit? And did you hear this bullshit? And by the way, horse farts are contrails, you know, stuff like that. And everyone's like, oh, horse farts are contrails in this village. And then in this other village, they're like, no, they're not contrails. They're good for you. You're going to soak them up. You know, put them in a bottle and save them and sell them at the witch market. But there was no witch markets anymore because they burned all the witches. Because they were setting people free because they were people of love. And so they just wiped it all out. They wiped out all the teachings because they're like, we can't have these people becoming awake. There'll be an uprising. And Rome eventually crumbled, but the Roman Catholic Church was making so much fucking money by then that they stuck with it. They stuck with the business model. It's the same thing we got churches today. It's the only reason these big old institutions don't go down. They keep saying, oh, come to the next program. Come to the next program or you're going to go to hell. You know, come to the thing, pay your money. Because they got pastors working there, you know. Think about a bunch of guys with their families, like, rely on it. His entire industries built up around it. It's got to stay running. Otherwise, this like massive segment of the economy goes out. And so they got to keep spreading misinformation for the peasants. So they keep fighting like assholes. And how do they do that? They don't have chariots anymore. They just put it on the news. And then they have one channel that says this thing and one channel that says this thing, and all of these assholes listen to this one and all these assholes listen to that one. So as soon as you stop listening to all that shit, you're no longer getting misinformation. And you can go read a fucking book. And then you'll stop fighting. Wouldn't that be cool? I think I would be into it. Are you guys feeling more spiritual yet? Some of you are. Some of you are. Did your mind get blown? I'm going to have to... Some of these lives get so rowdy like that, I need to download them and cut them out and just put them on YouTube and let people just suck it, you know? All right. Yeah, stop with the news, guys. Stop with the news. Problem solved. Emily, I'm going to be your friend because you had that comment. What's with you guys and your follow requests? Read a book. Religion, two-partum system and propaganda. How do you control the masses? Yep. Don't forget about Frozen. Stop watching the news. Yep. I stopped watching the news a while back. My life has never been better. Yeah, I gotta drop that one somewhere where people can watch it. You got your superpowers last week? Ooh. You got more highly spiritual? Don't be controlled. Just be. Well, can you imagine if everybody just gave up all that shit, all that fighting? Now, granted, the majority of the economy would, we'd have to have a little bit of equalization. But here's the thing. Have you ever noticed? Now, we got this thing called Caltrans, right? In California? Caltrans. They do the transit systems. You know, they do like the freeways and stuff. It's a catchy name. California Transit, Caltrans. Right? Big orange trucks everywhere, just fucking everywhere. These motherfuckers will work on the same spot of freeway for like 18 years. 18 years. The same 400 dudes standing there with one shovel, digging the same hole 18 years straight. All getting prevailing wage. They're getting like $60 an hour or something like that. We're paying for. And then they finally widen the road. And by the time they widen the road, they got to rebuild it because the other half of it is crumbled. If any private businesses ran like that, like imagine your local donut shop, right? You go to order a donut or a coffee shop, right? I'd like a coffee, please. They're like, we'll be with you in 5 years. And you stand there for 5 years. Meanwhile, you die of lack of coffee. And everything goes out of business because it's not infinitely funded by something that prints whatever money they want. Have you noticed your inflation rate lately? It's a shit show. They're just making all this up. It's a giant construct. They just keep everybody fighting with the news, so everybody fights. Because if anybody actually looked at what was going on, they'd be like, the fuck is going on here, guys? A few 180-year-old men calling all the shots for us? They can't even kickflip. Bunch of assholes. So you got to think about that stuff. And if the private sector took it over, I mean, that'd be great. You'd have really nice roads. You'd probably actually have some ingenuity. I mean, I know we'd lose the post office, but I mean, when was the last time I wrote you a fucking letter? You watch it on TikTok. I don't write any of you letters. Not a single one of you. Sarah wrote me a card for my birthday, and she left a kiss mark with lipstick. I've never gotten a card with a proper lipstick kiss mark, and she's got some good old lips. Oh, man. A chicken wing, 2 chicken wings. And I shit you not, I opened this card, and I was so touched by the fact that there was a big kiss in it that I kissed it. I kissed the card. I did it. I was like, mwah. No shame. I loved it. It was great. It gave me a little tingle and everything. Anyway, what are you guys talking about? Anything cool? They can't kickflip. They discontinued a certain car engine. And you gotta, yeah, this is adorable. You guys want to see it? I'll get it. Talk amongst yourself. I've kissed it a couple times since then, like for real, like on purpose. Oh, my fucking legs! Oh, no kickflips. Oh, sweet buttery baby Jesus. Oh, shit. It wasn't a long card, guys, but she had like this extravagant display of, I went over to her house to work on a Friday. She was at work, and it was my birthday. There was a whole smorgasbord of delights. I didn't even realize it was all mine. I left like half of it there. The whole counter was like, had flowers and little presents. This shirt, actually. This very shirt. So, it was delightful. And I opened this card up. Should I get the picture of Sarah? I'm going to get the picture. No, I'll get you. Should I show you this first? Look at that. Look at those lips. Yeah, it's a nice shirt, huh? Wait, it's your birthday too? No. Mine was on the 4th. You want to see Sarah? Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, good, sweet, buttery baby Jesus. Sarah's just lovely all around, but what's really lovely, her energy, dude, if you ever get to like just vibe with the Sarah, look at how cute we are. Is that the cutest shit you've ever seen or what? She's honestly, like her energy, when you get into the field of Sarah, you're like, who am I? And like anymore, like who are you? You know, you really start, because she's just love, like she's a bucket of love. She really she's done some good work on herself. She's done all the yoga, you know, she's done all the Kundalini shit. She thinks the same way that I do, except for totally different in her own way. It's the funniest thing. Like we can say things in our own words. She's got all the appropriate words. She knows all the words to all of the things. She's the smartest shit you've ever heard. I just rant with sounds, words that I make up, you know, but it communicates somehow because you feel it. But she knows all the real words. She studied world religions. She has a master's in Waldorf education. She could completely like re-terraform the entire planet by herself and make peace with all of the living beings and the dead ones. She's that good. Speaking of Sarah, if you've ever booked an emotional alchemy session with me, you may have gotten to talk to the lovely Sarah, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Different meat suits? Emotional health matters. Followed. Emotional health does matter. Anyway, you've gotten to talk to the lovely Sarah. Because and I've told you guys this before, I'm like, Sarah, you are not allowed to talk to people for 3 hours. You book a call in 30 minutes or less, and that's it. But some people, she feels them, and she's just like a pre-healing session with Sarah before they even get to talk to me. I don't even know. They should just pay her the money and be done with it. Don't even talk to me. So if you want to book an emotional alchemy session to work through your shit, you got 2 good options here. This lovely woman and this lovely man. Bam, bam, right? We're also going to do some couples workshop stuff sometime soon here. Teach you guys the ways. I'll just block my face out with the glasses, and then you can just see Sarah. The ways. Oh, what's emotional alchemy? That's the stuff I do for work, for money. It's great. So I'll tell you about emotional alchemy. We sit down in a session together. I don't usually wear glasses for those sessions. We sit here on the video call or in person. What the... You guys didn't... It's embarrassing. I don't even know what that was. And I'm actually not a jackass in these sessions. It's very loving. And it's a process of feeling down deeply into your emotions, your subconscious, the feelings of your body, and dredging up these old memories of stuff that have created emotional pathways in you, emotional habits, emotional patterns, the ways that you've been living, negative self-stories, kind of shadow work, stuff like that. And we open up these old memories through the process of emotional alchemy. It's just a meditative process, kind of taking you into a deeper space, and I feel it within you. So I kind of walk you through your body, like, hey, do you feel that in your body? Yeah, I feel that right there, kind of thing. And I walk you through that, and you are able to unpack these old memories, and you figure out why you bring these subconscious stories up into your alpha brainwaves of consciousness by putting your focus on them through the pain portal. And then you're able to reprogram your way of being and living your life and get out of anxiety and get out of all these fear things and the ways you feel about relationships by unpacking these stories. Because guess what, kids? When you came screaming out of your mom's vagina, you were this perfect little being, right? Maybe a little bit of genetic fuckery from your line, but for the most part, you're pretty pure at that point, right? You haven't had any context instilled in you. You have no ego. You're just doing a bunch of goo goo gaga. You're producing way more DMT than any baby should, and you're just tripping balls. And you're just in this like perfect space. It's like what Jesus was talking about when he was teaching, and the disciples were like, "Hey Jesus, you want to get these kids out of here? They're messing up your vibe." And he was like, "Fuck right off, guys. Like, these kids are closer to the Father than you are." It's in the Bible. That's verbatim. And he was like, "No, like, guys, like, these kids are closer to the Father. These kids are more with it. They know how to be. You guys all got the egos and your context and your understanding and all your wounds and your traumas and bullshit. These guys got it down. All right? So you started this little baby. You're perfect. All of you. This core of you is exactly right. Just perfection. Exactly who you're supposed to be. And the rest of it's just all the bullshit you learned. So dredging out this stuff from childhood, all of these feelings, all of these emotional habits and ways of being, when you pull all that shit out, and that's that, oh, I don't like it. I'm going to drink and suppress this feeling. I'm going to eat a bunch of shit food and suppress this feeling. I'm going to like do all this stuff and suppress this feeling again and again. And meanwhile, it just plagues you. Gives you autoimmune diseases. Makes you feel like shit. Gets you all triggered up in relationships. Gets you scared of doing what you really want to do. Makes it so you can't use your voice. You can't say what you need to say. Can't communicate the way you need to communicate. Can't love people the way you want to be loved. You can't even feel love. So when you unpack all that shit, you get to be free. And so then the process of going in the pain portal, dredging the stuff up, then bring it into your current present reality of being here in this moment, really is healing for people. They're like, what? I'm lifting out of my skin. Sometimes it's like a gentle thing. Sometimes it's heavy. But man, once you get all that stuff out, it's like you clear out that energetic tube of you-ness, and you're like, wow, life. Look at this. Look at this life I'm living. Everything is beautiful. And then you don't even have to do psychedelics anymore. You're just having a great time all the time. So if you need some help with that kind of stuff, I would love to support you in that. This guy and this lovely lady, her last day of work is on Friday. She's been doing school teaching and stuff for years and years, and she's ready to do something different. Write some books and stuff. Do some emotional alchemy sessions. Either one of us would love to sit with you through the process. If you'd like to work with some masculine energy, if you would like to work with some feminine energy, boop, 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 the lovely Sarah, this one. And it will help you work through all your shit and get free and learn to love yourself and life and everything around you. And then when you run into another person who also does that, you end up with this kind of magic here, you know? It's great. We will meet within 30 days. I can feel you. All right, let's do it. I'm in Encinitas. Let's skate it up. Dude, you can just be okay video. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody, you're okay right now. You're totally fine. Everything's fine. All of the stuff that makes you feel not okay is just this old bullshit. This old karma. You know, it's this energetic sensation of fear. These bodily memories of trauma. You clear that shit and you realize, oh, this is good. Everything's cool. You know? If you want, you can burn some sage. Doesn't do anything for making you okay, but smells nice, you know. You can like send this quantum intent out to everything. Something about an areola. Oh yeah, you can just go to my website. What would you tell counselors in training? How can you be better? What kind of counselor? What are you counseling? Ooh, off the grid. Nice. Nice. How much is it? The sessions are $175 each. It's usually about an hour and a half. If you do not have that money, which a lot of people don't, you can sign up on the website form, and Sarah's going to book you into one of our group sessions. We're going to be doing group sessions soon as well, where we're going to just do a kind of big group call and teach you the process. I won't be tapping in with you individually, but we will be there as a support watching you, making sure you're all good and not bringing up any major trauma and, having a hard time. Emotional alchemy is different than therapy. It is therapy. Oh, it's just danieltyack.com. It's my username. And if you go to my profile, which I think you can do while watching the live, you can just hit that little work with me link, and it'll take you to the website. Then you can just fill out this form while you're watching this live. I'm pretty sure it works like that on most phones. Emotional alchemy is a method of therapy, but it's a method of feeling into your subconscious. Yeah, we talk about some stories and stuff, and yeah, I'll help you out with coming to grips with some reality stuff in that and learning how to live free. Sarah will do the same, but it's deeper than that. It's how you've been feeling your whole life. The reason you needed therapy in the first place. It's like meta therapy, It's pretty nice. Got me through some shit. These flowers are really neat. Look at this. They're not soft. They're just neat. You ever seen these before? I think they're called straw flowers. Yeah, it's normal to be scared to bring that shit up. Like, think about being a 4-year-old and having some bullshit happen to you and having no idea how to process it. Think about how scared that 4-year-old would be. And when you have to feel that same feeling again, that's some bullshit, You got to feel like a 4-year-old for a second to get that stuff through, let it go. I wish I could come up with a better method to help people go free without going through that pain portal, but when you get into the pain of it, it gives you an injection of cortisol, which opens up your neuroplasticity and allows you to come up with new neurological connections, because everything about your nervous system is just neuron bonding. When this event happens, all your neurons know. When you're in this context, it knows that this fear will happen. Well, even if you're in a new context, you still feel subconsciously like that same old context is going to happen. The same feelings of being 4 and having that bullshit happen to you. Did you know? CDC reports from 2016, 1 in 4 Americans have suffered abuse from a loved one to the point where they have left marks. Spanking, smack, hitting, something like that. And 1 in 5 Americans have suffered some sexual trauma, some type of abuse, some touching to some grievous acts. And so it's like, this is some big traumas happen to all of us. Some heavy shit happens to 1 in 4 of everybody you know or more. And you, they're listening, And that stuff holds in your nervous system. It creates an energetic habit, an emotional habit. And then you get triggered by stuff, social anxiety, fear. Sucks. It's hard. It's hard to get through. Get stuck in a loop of depression. Get stuck in anxiety loops. You just get stuck there until you get present with it, and you bring those thoughts and those feelings out up to your alpha brain waves of consciousness, and you realize you're just here in this moment. And all of that stuff is an energetic sensation, a memory within your body. It's the shadow work. Shadowy. Who taught you the methods you use within them? I kind of made them up when I was healing myself. I had a bunch of trauma in my life. My business failed, and my wife walked out, and all my friends left, and I lost the place I was living, and I even blew a head gasket in my vehicle. It was a country song and a half. The only thing I didn't lose was my kids, but I lost every bit of my identity and who I thought I was as a person, and it was very painful, and it left me in a rather debilitated state trying to work. I would get in I would just blank out and lose track of days of time, and it was horrible. And I didn't have any money for therapy because I was just broke as fuck, losing everything, and I just started reading books and meditating, and it kind of built this system of opening this subconscious stuff through a meditative process. And then I found out it's all the same. I mean, a lot of people have it. They just call it different things. Somatic experiencing is the only thing I've found. Peter Levine's work, brilliant guy. If you have a somatic coach, that's a great method too. It's similar. I kind of like my method a little bit better. I think it's more integrative on the end. And every client I work with, how can you cleanse your subconscious mind? Every client I work with, I learn new things. And then I send a message to Sarah. Sarah, okay, when you work with someone who's got this kind of thing going on, take him into this route. And then she writes it all down because she's great at that stuff. How can you cleanse your subconscious mind? Okay, here's a little emotional alchemy thing that you can do without even having to book a session. Booking the sessions is nice because it's hard to stay in your shit. It's really hard to stay in your own subconscious bullshit. The pain portal is when it fucking hurts, when you open up into those old memories and they come through. And sometimes it's not a big, heavy memory. Sometimes it's just a little painful event. I'd had an event with a woman today that had just a stupid event in school that, this is a real deal, applicable thing. This was a minor one where she bought a pen from this gal. She wanted this cool pen that this girl had, and this girl was like, oh, I can get you one, kind of thing, which she could have gone to the school bookstore and gotten this cool pen herself. And basically this girl was mean girled her because she was just sort of didn't get it. And she was just a young kid, and she ended up paying way too much money for this pen. And then everybody was laughing at her, and she realized that she had gotten taken advantage of, and she felt super small, and she felt super just really dumb. She just was really beating herself up about it, and all the kids were laughing at her. Just a dumb little event. And now in her modern day life of being a 30-something-year-old woman, she's scared to go get an oil change, and she's scared to go get her tires taken care of because she feels the same feelings of when she was a kid, that she's going to be taken advantage of and she doesn't know what she's doing, she's an idiot and stuff like that, the same feelings. And we opened these up, and she was like, no wonder I've been fucking putting off getting my oil change. I felt the exact same way my entire life when having to deal with interactions like this, because she established an emotional habit when she was a kid, and it wasn't until we went and sat with the feelings of it and dug down in there in her subconscious that she discovered and made the connection, brought the memory to subconscious in the midst of feeling like shit and feeling small and feeling horrible in a loving space that I was holding for her. She didn't realize. And then because that neuroplasticity was open in the pain portal of getting that injection of cortisol from your endocrine system when you're experiencing that negative sensation, she was able to make new thought processes. And she's going to go take care of her car tomorrow. So that's a small one. We've also processed a woman with a bunch of rape trauma. That was some heavy shit. That was some heavy shit. I have never felt such disgusting energy flow through my body as that. I cannot, if anyone has had that, I can empathize with you on a level. I doubt the full level. But I felt that flowing through me, and I just wanted to barf the whole time, and it felt disgusting. The most violating, horrible thing you can ever imagine, feeling that. And when we processed it through, she was like, I'm fucking healed. It was great. And I would definitely, repressed, unprocessed trauma. I would do that again for anybody. I don't want to, but if you need some help, I'm here for you. I'm just going to bring a barf bucket next time in case I throw up. But man, when you see the light come on in someone's eyes afterwards, it's all worth it, You'd be like, I'm getting that shit any day. It's great. Does anyone have any questions? Comments? Concerns? It can be called repressed or unprocessed trauma, shadow work, all that stuff. There's different methodologies to do it, and there's a lot of different people that do. Okay. You don't have to feel bad about your trauma. You've been feeling bad with your trauma this entire time. What you're doing is putting awareness on it. And when you're in what I call the pain portal, you're actually having an injection of cortisol in your system. Your endocrine system is firing your hormone system. It is your hormone system. And because of that cortisol in your system, not cortisone, it's a neuroreceptor, it opens that neuroplasticity up. And that's why I call it the pain portal, because it hurts to sit in that. It hurts to be in that memory, that feeling. But when you, if anybody's been through this, like, help out, you felt it. I feel it in them while it's happening. And they have this sensation of being in the depths of this. And then when the full memory is like opened, it's like opening up the dark room and like looking around, and you go, oh, I see what that is. It's been just bothering the shit out of me for all my entire life. And those memories come up into your alpha wavelength from your beta or your gamma or your delta or your theta. They come into your conscious mind. And you have that open neuroplasticity now where you no longer have the same event of neuron bonding. Everything's a little looser. You can come up with a new context and a new understanding. The way you learn, you touch a hot stove, you see the red. Optical neurons see in the red, you feel the pain. Ooh, you know. It's the same way with trauma. Context, relationships, gonna end up crushing my little heart. So then you block off all your heart and you never want to be in a relationship again, right? So you go through that process of opening into that pain. While you're in that and your neuroplasticity is open, you can create a new learning event of basically understanding that you're right here, right now. And there's some like modalities within emotional alchemy of doing this inner child healing or whatever the healing process is, of integrating that energy with your moment because of that memory, that fear trapped in your body, the trauma, that then is you're able to integrate that thought with current moment, because it's like past, it's like living in the past in your subconscious while you're operating in your conscious mind of your alpha brain waves in your present. And because you feel like shit from the past context, you get anxiety about the future, and then you're living in this constant state of fuckery. So it's a way of integrating your past into your conscious mind so you're no longer fucking up your future and your moment's real nice, you know? I love the tacos. They were good. Do you consider yourself a writer? I consider myself a TikToker. I'm gonna write some stuff. Stretching can help. Yeah, absolutely. That's why like yoga and stuff and bodily movement is really good. There's stuff gets locked in your body. There's all sorts of studies. Peter Levine's work, Bessel van der Kolk's work, in trauma, of how it gets locked on the cellular level, which is effectively like, what is a feeling? What is a feeling but a hormone, but a different neural receptor to cause a different sensation within your body? And then we call it an emotion in our conscious mind, in our alpha brain waves, because that's how we're understanding the world. We call it a trauma to understand why we're feeling some way because of the way that our neural receptivity is working. So you stretch and you move your body and all of a sudden you feel better. That's why when you go work out, you get an endorphin rush and a little dopamine kick, and then you have different neural reception and you feel different. That's why it's so hard, like when you're depressed or something like that, because you're in this loop. Or anxiety, it's continually triggering the amygdala because you have these hormones kind of trapped on this cellular level, making you feel that certain way because they've been burnt out, they weren't able to process because you were stuck in a fight or flight or flee or fawn situation and you got trapped in that, and it happened so much it created a loop which continually triggers your amygdala and then continually triggers your hormone system to continually give you that feeling, and then you have more of that feeling and it triggers your amygdala more, and now you're anxious and you have a habit of feeling that way. So stretching can help. Is there a book that I would suggest? Books on trauma, of any of Bessel van der Kolk's work or Peter Levine's work. I really like those guys. I think they do excellent work on trauma stuff. Yep, you've been doing it. If you're just sitting with your feelings and feeling them, like the whole sit with it, feel those negative sensations and ask yourself, why would I be feeling this way, real quietly? That's kind of the basis of it. I just have a bunch of different questions, and when you have somebody there sitting with you, especially someone who can feel it with you, and be like, what's that? What are you feeling right there? I was sitting with a gal yesterday in a session who, she's like a life coach and very bodily aware, doing her yoga and stuff. And I was able to point out a couple things in her, like, yeah, you feel that there? She's like, I didn't even know that was there. I was like, yeah, it's because you've been feeling it your whole life. You were not aware of it. You're just used to it. So when you have somebody to help mirror in the event of being human, you're able to become aware of these things. And then once you have awareness of it, you bring it up to alpha brain waves. And then you can reprogram the way you think about stuff and the way you feel about stuff. Because what is a feeling but a thought? Your brain triggers your body. Okay, the tacos were great. I had 2 fish tacos on Taco Wednesday. Just trying to help the room to learn. Sorry if I talk too much. No, get after it. Anybody that has something to share it up. Really glad you found the account. I'm really glad you found the account too. What's the most beautiful place you've ever been to? Honestly, Encinitas. That's why I like living here. It's fucking phenomenal all the time. Like all the time. Even when it rains, it's like, oh, it's so nice here. It just feels good. Feel like I'm an adult child. All right, listen to me. Listen to me, Matt. I'm going to follow you. We're friends now. I never had an event in my life where my dad was like, you are a man, or something like that. I had to just figure that out eventually. Like, I bought a cooler one time, and I was like, damn, I'm not borrowing my parents' cooler anymore. I own my own cooler. Like, damn, you know, it's kind of a moment. And you got to figure it out eventually. So here's the end game. Feel like a child, because that feels better, and be an adult. Just do it. You're there. All of you. I don't care if you're 12 watching this. The moment that you just be is the moment that you are. Nobody's going to tell you to do it. You got to figure it out on your own. So just be that, motherfuckers. I gave you my blessing. You see that? Highly spiritual. Thank you for the roses. Okay. Oh yeah, it's all about love and learning. Anything goes. Send the dick pics. I try to be mindful all the time so that I don't fall back into old neural bonding. Yup. Once you open it up, though, you're out of it, right? And you can just change the way you be. And then once you have a new emotional habit, you're there. And then you realize, oh, I'm just here. And then it's easier to just open and clear. And then you run into somebody that offends you. And you're like, why would I be offended? That's me with my feelings. And then you like can do your own little like emotional alchemy work and be like, why would I be offended? Oh, yeah, because I've always felt like this. Oh, it gets easier and easier. And you can do it in like real time. You get triggered a little bit. I honestly don't get triggered by shit. I got a little bit sad last night. There was an event that happened. I got kind of mean girled out of a group in Encinitas because I just don't ever buy into anybody's bullshit. And the guy that really loves to have everybody gather around him, like, mean girled me. And one of my friends was having a birthday party. Really good friend. And they were all doing the birthday party. And I showed up to Sunset and they were all doing the birthday party. And I was like, thanks for the invite, guys. Thanks for the invite, you know? Hurts. And I had to check with Sarah. I was like, babe, am I being overly sensitive about this? Or And she's like, dude, that's the most dick move I've ever heard. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to let it go. And then I didn't have to live with it. I just let it go. So let them be mean girls. I don't want that energy in my life. Okay. Emotions. Energy, emotion. Yep. Joe Dispenza. Yep, he's a dude. Good guy. Wish there was the way mental health to chronic health was addressed. Yes. Your health, all of your physical health starts with your mental health. I lost like 75 pounds on my journey of healing my emotions, and I didn't diet and I didn't try. I just lost it because I wasn't eating the same foods because I felt better. And I wasn't wanting to suppress the emotions by eating shit foods because I just felt better and I healed the emotions, and then I wasn't doing it, and then my body like changed. I swear to you, I'm younger now than I was when I was in my 20s. Like, I'm more agile, I'm more bendy, skate way better, like just way cooler. I could take better hits when my body was younger. Like, I could just really eat shit and die and I'd be okay the next day. You know, now I'm a little bit like, oh God, that hurts. Okay, what do you got to say about twin flames? Oh. It's mathematically possible, okay? But, you're in for it. You find somebody that is the exact mathematical match of you, you're going to be working on your ego real quick. You're going to be seeing all your bullshit real quick. And yeah, it's possible. But what about learning about other things? Like, why are you running around looking for a twin flame? Look for yourself. You're looking for your soulmate? Oh, I'm going to get my soulmate. Somebody that completes me. Meanwhile, everybody is a construct in your mind. Everybody is you. You're viewing yourself. So that twin flame, which is a mathematical possibility, like, you're looking at yourself. Like, what are you running around for that for? Find someone that, like, propels your energy forward, your energy of wholeness. Look for wholeness within yourself. Look for being within yourself. Look to be love. And then when you find someone who is also being love, you can be love together without attachment. And you do nothing but propel each other forward. This is an electrical phenomena. Even within quantum physics. When you shoot a photon down the Small Hadron Particle Accelerator, whatever the fuck that thing's called, and it's at a particular frequency, particular oscillations per given second, hertz. One photon alone has a particular amount of time at the speed of light that it goes, and then it changes form into another form of energy. And if you shoot two photons down there, out of phase with each other, that are not at the same waveform and frequency, as they pass, here's the waveform, one's going up, one's going down, they're out of phase. They're not like at the right, they're not even. Each time they pass magnetically, they kind of pull each other off track a little bit, and fuck, ow, god damn it, as they're going down at the speed of light, and they crumble. Less output. They crumble faster than a single photon. And if you send two down at the same waveform, the same frequency, every time they pass smoothly, they go fling, fling, magnetically, and they propel each other forward, and they have an exponential output. So you're not looking for your twin flame. You're not looking for your soulmate. You're looking for yourself. And if you can't be that, when you find another, you're just either going to crash each other into the dirt or propel each other forward. And the only way to propel each other forward is to be whole within self. And yeah, there's some mirroring process of attachments, of ego to each other. And you got to work that shit out. But the second you're demanding anybody else work it out for you is the second you're going to crash it into the dirt. So I don't know. What do you think about twin flames? Do you like Eckhart? Yeah. I like it, the Tolle. I like it. That's a good one. Power Now, if you ever read that. Why K a lot? You K a lot. Why? K a lot. Why would you do that? Very well explained. To recognize in moment. Joe Dispenza, yep, I like him. Plasticity, neuroplasticity, that is an event of neuron bonding. We also do neuron mirroring. That's why if somebody is crossing their arms and all bitter, then you're going to be like, because we do neuron mirroring. We do the thing that other people are doing. So raising your frequency is not giving up with that, giving to that bullshit. Just being like, nope, I am myself. Somatic wizardry, blasting out love, whatever it is, not letting anybody affect your vibe. Emotion is energy in motion. Yep, absolutely. Random onset anxiety. I know I'm way behind on these guys. I'm going to just flip to the end and then come back if I can. Do you get mostly the same questions on each live? Sometimes. Sometimes they're different. The future is bright, my guy. Word. Yes, Chris, I believe that. This is spiritual talk. Serious spiritual talk. Yeah. Look at the title of this TikTok. It was highly spiritual. What's up, Kansas City? 105 pounds down now. 65 just happened by adding healthy shit. Bravo. 105 pounds down? Like, that is incredible. How? Because sometimes I just forget everything when I remember bad parts of my thinking. Yup. Oh, Cardiff meetup. Unleash dogs. Okay, we'll do it. We're in it. Cardiff, I like Cardiff. Why does it gotta be Cardiff? Why don't you love Encinitas? My legs hurt, guys. I sat for 5 hours in sessions today, so I'm gonna lounge. Is that cool? Do you mind if I lounge? Yeah, that's better. Oh, you can't see Sarah. It's gonna be okay. Any books on energy, vibrations, frequency, and spirituality? Ooh, I like this one. I'm sure there's an updated version, but it's the technician's class for ham radio. It's to get your FCC license. But this has a lot of good information about frequencies, stuff like that. Just take a general like DC electronics theory class and you'll learn about some frequencies. Will you be my guru? Yeah, sure. Just keep watching TikToks if you like it. It's cool. Any books on spirituality and frequency and vibration? I mean, like, just write a book on this thing. There's enough vibrations in this to be spiritual enough to keep your mind running for years. You think through this thing, and you'll arrive. But you got to think about it, just like any book. So this is as good of a book as any. See, it's a moon bowl. Bought it from the guy at the farmer's market that also sold acid out of a van. That's how you know it's good. Untethered Soul. Ooh, yes. Yeah, most of you guys are laying down. Jeez. Were you guys laying down this whole time? You making me work that hard? I have an energetic need to be around another high vibe to spark, propel me. No, you don't. You got an energetic need to be you. Because everybody else is just a mirror, and if you're not that, you're just mooching. You know? You're just taking. And what is love? But a give or a receive. Untethered Soul is fantastic. I really like Michael Singer's stuff. Here's the thing with love, guys. You're lounging? Everybody lounging? Yeah, lounge it up, guys. Got to keep the hippie hat hot. Here's the thing with love. And this, Sarah taught me this. I was like getting close to this concept, and then Sarah completed it for me, and I was like, bam, girl. You just said when two come close. They do what? When two come close. What did I say? I can't keep track of what I said. I've been talking like shit, you know? But I was talking about love. Everybody's lounging? Like, I need you guys full lounge mode right now. Man, I'm looking at that candle. Was anybody here at the beginning? What was their name? Oh, yeah, two particles. That's like a quantum physics. I'll talk about that again. But first I'm going to talk about love. But first we're going to bring it back to Cole. Was it Cole? Cush. Chris Cush. Chris Cush. Chris Cush lost her husband. It was Chris Cush. Just recently. And so this is a little spell for him, just in remembrance. And anytime you see this candle, you are sending all of your love to Chris Cush. Because that's a tough one, you know? Lose your husband, I can't even imagine, you know? Like, lose your spouse like that. Yeah, we sent a bunch of black hearts because black was his favorite color. And we're burning a black candle in his honor. So I want you guys, all 37 of you, to look at that candle right now burning and generate a feeling of love in your heart space and send it out. Just be like, man, I love you, girl. Like, we got you. Because that straight up manipulates the quantum field. That is some wizardry. That is manifestation. That is supporting her in her pain. You know? That's some Jesus shit right there. Listen, if you want to fuck your mind up, oh God, lounging. This is a great one. Tao of Physics. Really, I was thinking about that theory about how relationships like propel each other forward or crash into the dirt. Favorite movie, Three Amigos. Let's go with that. And anyway, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, relationships, it's like, by yourself, you're just like here. But when it's real good, you're like, And when it's not good, you're like, fuck off, you know? And then I was flipping through this book at this chick's house I dug. This book, actually, you see these notes in here? God, I love this guy. See this note in here? It says space of an atom right there. The notes in this book were written by a man on death row. And he was executed. Not to be dark about it, but it's fascinating the things he came up with. Mass is relative. The higher the velocity, the stronger the something. This is all about space-time and stuff. And it is so fascinating to see what a man on death row noted in a book like Tao of Physics. Like what he was thinking about, knowing that he was going to die. And he was executed. And the things that, it's beautiful, honestly. Like the notes he took in here, it's fascinating. Anyway, I was flipping through this book. There it is. I think that was it. And I was thinking about this thing of energy and relationships. And I flipped to this page. I think this was it. Nope. But that's a wave packet if you're interested. And I flipped to this page and I saw this just a little diagram and I was like, that looks like what I've been thinking about. And then I read it. God, where is it? I read up about it, and that was that theory I was talking about. The exact same thing, except for I was just thinking about it in one way, and they had been doing it in the Small Hadron Collider. Just like, oh man, I gotta read this book again. It's a good one. So if you want to get your brain straight, and what I mean by straight is just fuck shit right up. The Tao of Physics. Also, Ham Radio Technician class. That's a good spiritual book. It's all the spirits. Advice in getting over the past. Yes. Well, you gotta remember that you are a microbe of atomic energy stuck together with magnets. You're nothingness. If you were to turn your light switch off of Eunice, you would be about a pinhead worth of carbon. That's where we get the idea of stardust or starseed, that our consciousness is rooted in some distant whatever, lounging for love. And that everything that you feel, or you think you feel, is nothing but an energetic signature. God, I'm getting tired. Look at these eyes. Man, I can't do the past right now. Getting over the past. You just got to stop. You got to realize that you're in this moment and start giving it up. Because your feelings about that are nothing more than an emotional habit. And if you want to break a habit, you got to stop it first. Get here. Go sniff a flower, you know. Keep a flower nearby for sniffing. Go love yourself. Go look in the mirror and be like, you're fucking awesome and I love you. And here we are. And then when you can't drop it, ask yourself, why can't I let this go? Sit and meditate quietly. Why would I continue to make myself feel like this? Do I like angel numbers? Yeah. People are trying to debunk metaphysical reality. People are always... Well, metaphysical reality is a scam. All of it. Because it's just a concept of ego. It's an energy that we feel. And then we say, oh, it's like this. I'm going to write it down. And then because enough people feel the same way about it, manifest that into reality. Somebody has it's like religion, you know? Somebody has an idea of why they feel a certain way in their ego. And they go, oh, because I wave my arms around like this. Did you feel that too? You talked to my lovely lady? Isn't she the best? Did you guys have a good chat? Did she talk to you for like an hour? Because she's only supposed to talk to you for half an hour, but sometimes she gets carried away. Isn't she the fucking best? Like, didn't you just feel healed already talking to her? Dude, Spaceman! Spaceman. Oh, good night. Good night. Hey, thanks for the gifts and stuff. I saw you up in that business. Appreciate you. Spaceman, dude, we had a banger tonight. We got highly spiritual. Everyone in here ascended but you. Hey, Chris, you going to SawCon? D's nuts. What does Sarah do? Me? And she's good at it, too. Super good. Honestly, she's a legend. She's so free that she doesn't give a shit about anything, like body image issues and stuff. And oh man, she's just like, she's a babe, but it's like everybody's got some weird body image things because of our cultural programming. And Sarah is just free and is so sparky. Whenever we get anywhere near each other, it's like, hide the kids, you know? He just laughed at me. Sarah is currently a teacher, and she ends her gig on Friday. She has been a teacher for a long time, and she's just kind of ready for a new thing. She actually has a master's in Waldorf education. Absolutely brilliant. Just incredibly brilliant. And she will be helping me write some stuff, some books, and some programs. She has a way of helping me organize my mind, which tends to be a little bit chaotic. And I have a good way of helping her organize her heart, which tends to be in that feminine flow. So she teaches all the things of Waldorf education, anything about education. She called me a gem. We'll never forget that. Okay, are we doing a session? Did we get booked? I'm excited. You got to talk to her. She's really something else. Also, if you guys want to do emotional alchemy stuff, hit it up. If you don't have the money for a big sesh, hit up the contact form anyway and say, I want to be in on the group call. And we will do the things. Yeah. Guys, it's 10:01. Oh, somebody asked about angel numbers. Mathematically speaking, it's totally bullshit. But if you like looking at them and it reminds you to have a good attitude and to put some good quantum intention into the field, then they're great. Just know that they don't have anything to do with angels, because angels are simply a construct of ego, an energetic sensation. It's all here. It's all there. It all is. But there's nothing inherently spiritual about them. Like this dinger here is just as spiritual as an angel number. What's Sarah's TikTok? It's like Hearth Mama 3, but she never posts anything. She's a stock talk. Pay attention to what you're thinking about when you see the numbers. You can just, but see, what are you thinking about? Like, yeah, I guess pay attention. Yeah, keep your mind. Use them as like a focal point, just like a mala. It's a heuristic centering device. It's like, what am I thinking about right now? Learning something new about yourself. And you center into the moment, The signposts. If you make them that, well, that's just your ego making them the signposts. That's your way of understanding. That's your comprehension. That's your demands on the way things should be. And anytime you say, it's got to be this way, then you got a dogma. And then you put a big old black line around God and say, God only lives in here. And God lives in here, bitches. You hear it? There he is. There she is. There it is. I can hear it. Oh, baby's live. Here he is. Same thing as energy rocks. I don't necessarily believe in them, but they help you go. Now there's get yourself a bowl. Here's an energy rock. It's got energy in it. It is energy. It's a funny thing about crystals. It's like a rock is like really slowed down waveforms, like really fucking slowed down energy. I mean, it's such a low vibration that it is literally the density of a fucking rock, If we're talking vibrations. And you can feel something about them. But maybe that's just you feeling something within you based on your concept of perception. I feel like it's a magic show. Hold on, motherfuckers. We're gonna do some magic. Oh gosh! Ow! Mother Jesus! Jesus, Mary, and Jerome. Oh no, this one. This one. Okay. I want you to look at this guitar pick, right? I'm gonna grab the guitar pick. I'm gonna squish it up. Now, watch closely. It's a green one. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. This is God. My hand's kind of sweaty from getting all worked up. I'm going to put God in this hand, right? I'm going to just jam him in there real careful like. You guys watching? Do not take your eyes off the screen. Yeah, there he goes. See him in there? Yeah, get in there, God. Get in there. It's way down in there. I'm going to jam him in there. Push him in with all my fingers. Is he in here? Is he in here? No, God's right here. There he is. Did you catch that? Yo, Flynn Skidmore. Let's see if we can get Flynn in here. I'm going to invite him. Yeah, baby. Dude, is Flynn coming on? Don't. Yes!
What up, dude?
Flynn!
What's going
Dude, I was just getting ready to go to bed.
on, man?
I don't see you. Dude, this guy, you guys. Are you following Flynn here, you guys? Because you should be.
Let me go out into the living room where I have better service.
I'm just over here sniffing crystals.
Give me a sec. How's your night going?
Dude, it's good. I was about to go to bed, but I saw you pop on, and I was like, let's see if Flynn wants to jump on. This guy, you guys.
We could do like a couple minutes.
Same, dude. I'm almost dead. I've been doing magic tricks.
I saw your thing that you posted the other day where you were tired as fuck in the morning.
Oh man, I was dead. I seriously was like stumbly dead that day. My eyes are like burning red right now. Oh, but man, I love the people.
Have you been doing lives like every night?
You know, I don't have my kids on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I try to do lives like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I get carried away and do like these 3-hour bangers because we keep talking about stuff. Oh man, dude, Flynn
That's so cool.
Okay, they want to know who Flynn is. Flynn's going to introduce himself in a second. Flynn is a man of love who has a lot of amazing advice. We've only met on the TikToks and Instagram, but his beautiful things to say. He does medicine work with people. He holds space for people, doing all kinds of good stuff. Flynn, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but I love this guy's
cool.
Vibes. He's a good dude.
That's a great introduction. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Let's see how I can get myself on video, which
no lighting.
Don't know how to do.
Do you want me
to?
You want to call back?
You want me to hop? Yeah, let's see if we can do that and see if that works.
I believe in us. Let's try it. Go for it.
I do too.
Okay. Yeah, Flynn's a good dude. He's like he's a guy I found. He just really beautiful posts and stuff, and just a man. He's just a dude of love. Like you can tell, his vibe is straight. Just a great guy. Good content, and he's a local guy here. Even though we've tried to meet up a couple times, but he's busy. I'm busy, and it works out that way. Some For You page always. Hey, hello. Let's try it again. Okay. Oh, wait. I know how to do this. Co-host with not these guys. God, jeez. Sweet, buttery baby multi-guest. Flynn! I don't know how to do this. Oh, wait. Maybe if I scroll up. Oh, here we go. Bam. Invite sent. Anyway, Flynn's he's just a rad dude. You guys are going to meet him.
Oh.
Yeah. There he is, the
There
man,
we
the myth, the
go.
legend.
What up, man?
Yo, so we were just talking about all kinds of crazy spiritual stuff tonight and just doing magic tricks and things.
Sick. What kind of
Flynn,
spiritual stuff are you?
what do you think? What is God, dude? What is God? We've been working on it.
Really, really great question. I think that the thing that we call God is, I think that it's the interconnection of every particle in the universe and information existing in the present, information that represents all things that have existed in the past and the future existing in the present moment. All things, all information existing within each part. That's what I think that God is. What do you think?
I'm right there with you. He's also, I got him right here.
He's right in there.
You hear that, motherfuckers?
He's right up in there.
He's up in this bitch. Yeah, he's just right there, dinging away. You know, it's that, it's the whole thing. It's the energy of all of it, every little bit of it. And it's a man because it's us, and it's the bowl because it's a sound wave, and it's everything. It's the mirror.
Yes.
It's all of it.
Right. And does is God a helpful concept for you? Do you use that concept?
Nah, it was pretty wounding from this stuff. Like the whole like man God thing, you know, that deep conditioning was so wounding, and the fact that though God is that version of God is love, you're intrinsically wicked from the get go, and that does nothing from your self love. You know, what I mean?
Right.
It's like really fucks you up.
Right.
So I don't use the concept of God, and I think of it all in that ethereal energetic spectrum. But because of that, because I like to just absolutely destroy my mind and thinking out as far as I possibly can, I can't help but say, here is this thing that is within all things and is all things and of all things. So I get the concept, you know?
Right.
It's just it's our ego that puts the face of a man on it and makes it an idol, you know?
Yeah. And I guess it's a use. So it's the concept of as above, so below. All things are all things. And I guess that's a helpful, to me, that's a helpful thing. So like, I actually didn't make this tea super mindfully, but I really like the concept of as above, so below, because it makes it so that you can experience godliness in anything that you do. So if you're brewing a cup of tea or brewing a cup of tea, you can be interacting with every single particle in the universe across all of time and space with whatever intention you're bringing to the tea that you're brewing. And so like that's a pretty fucking sick thing to me. Like if that's what God is and we get to practice godliness in those ways, like that to me makes life really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, that mindful thing, because it's like we're just translating it through our little tiny alpha brainwaves of ego, the whole thing. And when we can just kind of feel into the depth of it, you get to get a picture of the whole thing. Speaking of which, speaking of God and intention, this candle that's burning down right here is for a friend who was on earlier. I'm forgetting her name again. Anyway, she just lost her husband, and she had asked for some advice. So anytime you see that candle, mindfully send all of your love to her. Chris Cush. Thank you, guys. My people are covering. Send all of your love to Chris Cush because she just lost her husband, and we were all sending her every bit of intent and love to help support her in her journey of grief on that. So, speaking of sending it out and God, that's what that's burning for. I also want to remind the people.
Beautiful.
We were talking about all kinds of stuff, Flynn. We were doing God and love and spiritual. It's big. What is this TikTok? This was the highly spiritual night. We were doing all things highly spiritual.
How much time do you spend in a state of love? How often are you there?
Almost all of it. Almost all of it. Just like hanging in that, like the feeling of it. If I don't, like, if I don't feel that like, ah, I'm like, something's up. Let's go
Mm-hmm.
do a little work,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. And for you, what does love feel like for you? Like, can it express itself in sadness?
Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
full acceptance of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's darkness, it's like, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that darkness is creating the light, and that's the reciprocal process of as above, so below, and it goes right back into itself. And like, of course. And then it gives you compassion for the darkness. Say, come
Mm-hmm.
here, like into this like better state, this better feelings, at least on this like ego plane. You know what I mean? How we see things is like, oh, this is good and this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
When you accept it, it doesn't repulse you, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can help it come towards the light.
Mm-hmm.
But it's,
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of like a full acceptance of all of it.
It's so yeah, for you, a state of love expresses itself as just an acceptance of whatever there is.
It's all beautiful.
Yeah, it's all beautiful. Yeah. How, like, have you ever, I'm sure you teach people acceptance. What what works for you, your clients? Like, do you have particular tools that help people understand acceptance? Or particular frameworks or particular ways of describing how to accept something?
Hmm. I usually just sort of, yeah, I wish I probably had a better method for like a systematic. It's kind of like feeling into whatever their story is.
It's
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's hard. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
hard
super
to have a
individual.
framework with people because we're all so different.
Right.
And that's the part of the work. It's like if you fully accept them in everything they are, then there's no judgment. And it's like you have to teach them somatically.
Mhm.
You have to be it. You can't really explain it. You just
Yeah.
have to accept them and all of their shit and all of their good. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm okay. And you're like, yeah,
Yes.
you're okay, motherfucker.
Yes. Right. Like it's about the relationship and the exchange. They get to have a somatic experience of acceptance in the context of another person accepting them, and then they get to learn what that feels like and how that is. Yeah, I think that that's really cool. It is really hard to systematize those
Yeah.
kinds of things.
You can't
It's
really explain
really
it because every person is different, you know?
that's yeah.
Every
I'm
person is God. Every person is that fractal of God. That's where we get that idea, you know? It's like, but they are the whole thing because it's all passing through them. It's just their point of perception creates the fractal.
hmm yeah. That's a great point. Someone just asked a cool question.
Yeah.
Question for both. How do you love yourself if it's never been an option or there's no concept of it?
That's kind of what we're talking about in that mirroring process of somebody cannot know how to do a concept without feeling it. It's like in education with children. We
Yeah.
don't learn based on words. We'll learn based on imagery. We learn based on a feeling
hmm
of how it feels. So to feel that from someone else, and that's like what both Flynn and I do is like project love to everybody on TikTok and like you are so fucking loved. And like whatever it is we're saying, it doesn't matter because it's the energy of us coming out to be like, I love you.
hmm
And feel it, motherfuckers. Like feel
hmm
it deep. You know,
hmm
because that's it's like how are people gonna figure it out if they can't feel it? So hey, if you guys are not feeling love, like I love you like so much, like for real. You're all right here with me right now in all of it. And so feel a little bit of that and take it home, squish it around in there and just like live with that, you know?
So good. Yeah. It's an interesting thing that we do as humans is differentiate what gets to be loved and what doesn't get to be loved. You know what I mean? And it's such a human thing to intellectually understand that all things are loved except for me. And it's
Mhm.
this thing of seeing ourselves as a different phenomenon, like something separate than everything else.
The original sin, the
It
knowledge
right?
of good and evil. This is
That's a
good and this is evil.
that's a really good way of framing it. Yeah, exactly. And then like always that internalization of this is evil. Whatever I conceive of as self is evil and everything else is lovable. I
Mhm.
mean that doesn't describe everyone's case, but it's so strange to me. Like I wonder if that's like if that is religious and cultural conditioning, like or if there's something fundamental to human consciousness that needs to do that.
Yeah,
What do
maybe.
you
I think
think?
it's probably just conditioning.
You
It
think?
comes. I mean, I think it comes back from Rome and the influence in the West of that, because we don't have that same concept in Eastern traditions.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like different. It's a little different flavor. You know, we break it up into like fractals of God and say, oh, we'll worship this God and that version of God and this little bit of God here and there in different traditions, or we have it's all one traditions and things. And you know, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy out there with people, but it's like we all got to be doing something in it. Like it's not, it doesn't exist if it's not all there.
That's what I think too. Like, love is just an energetic, the way that I think of it is it's just an energetic state that is that it's a warm blanket that touches every particle of the universe. And when one particle of the universe, because of as above so below, when one particle in the universe is operating at the frequency of love, then all are, or at least all have the potential
Yeah.
to access that state. Um, and yeah, it's a really interesting thing. So like on the one hand, it's simply an energetic state, and on the other hand, what we do, I guess, in the West with our minds is compartmentalize and say this thing is lovable, this thing is not. And I think when people are asking the question like how can I love myself, they're they're generally still operating in that paradigm of this thing is lovable, this thing is not, so how can I make this thing lovable too? Whereas for me, it's about stepping out of that paradigm and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that love just is this thing. And when there is love, then all things are love.
Yep.
Um, Not about how do I make myself lovable.
I think that's where we get the tradition of like observer state or higher self to take yourself out of the experience of your fucking endocrine system and neural receptivity and say, "Oh, I'm just having an experience." So then your perspective is outside of anything that you would perceive of as good or pain, or like simple like Taoist philosophy of, you know, riding in the middle. And it's like, yeah, you acknowledge the bullshit, you acknowledge the good shit, but you're just kind of in the middle. You're
Yeah.
just observing it, and it's like that outer state, that higher state, you know, whatever it is, of observer. So you can see it all and not get caught up in it. Or the same Jesus principle of being in the world and not of the world, where
Mm-hmm.
you're in the middle of all the shit, but it's you're not of it. You're just
Mm-hmm.
observing it. It's there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
of course it's there. Of course you have to have darkness for light. And it's all beautiful because it is all the thing. And then it becomes God. And then
Mm-hmm.
you are God because you're conceiving that.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said. I love that. When you started to see the world in that way and be that way, did it create apathy in the beginning for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think I started with apathy because my life had been so fucked up. All of my concepts of everything. Like I had a mushroom trip of a life. You know what I mean? I just lost all the things, the business and the wife and all my identities and all my friends and everything. Everything that I associated with was wiped out, and I ended up in a little 10 by 10 room with a roommate situation after having being married for 11 years and having my own place and things like that. And I was like two mattresses on the floor with like nothing, and I was with my kids, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Fuck.
You know what I mean? I was like almost homeless, like almost just like what? And if I hadn't my kids in there, I might have killed myself. You know what I mean? I was just done,
Yep.
and I was just like, fuck this. But at the same time, I was in pain, and pain is the teacher, and pain will
Mm-hmm.
always lead you. You're always path of least resistance. So I was trying to get out of the pain, and I just sat down and started meditating and reading because I didn't have any money for therapy. And it started with this fuck it apathy and ended up with whatever this is.
Mm-hmm. Were you like, leading up to that, were you becoming aware of things like spirituality and meditation and all that?
Not really. I mean, spirituality in the form of Christianity.
Okay.
But I had been walking out of that for like 15 years of like, something's up here, guys. Like, I
Mm,
don't know about this. But it was like, still like kind of believing these core beliefs because I didn't know any other I didn't know any other way.
got it.
But then
Okay.
as soon as everything failed, I was like, hold up, like what happened to God's promises here? Like this is shit. And then went ahead and like opened my mind and researched and went for some psychedelic journeys and things like that, and got to open my mind up in that way, and
Cool.
really good practice and stuff like
Cool.
that. And, you know,
So
a lot of
so
different modalities.
So you're in this 10 by 10 room, you start meditating and reading, and then what happened? Like what was the first thing that happened that was like a spark of inspiration or the spark of this new you?
I didn't want to die on my one wheel. I had
Mhm.
one wheel and I was riding around. And those things are Zen machines. If you want to go fast on a one wheel and weave around in traffic, you have to control your nervous system. And I was
Mhm.
reading about stuff and I was like, oh, I can control my nervous system.
Mm.
I learned like bodily Zen. I learned
Mm.
somatic Zen before I put it together.
Interesting.
So it's like I practice the feeling of it, of literally
Interesting.
like no adrenaline, no, you don't get to hit me. I got to stay chill. I got to stay in the
Wow.
flow. I like learned flow riding somatically,
Interesting.
and then I
So
pieced it together with all of the teachings and stuff.
what that sounds like is that you learned that it was possible to make a choice about how you were experiencing this bodily sensation. You could
Absolutely.
choose how this thing goes. You didn't have to just react to your conditioning of how it was, what
Yep.
however it was conditioned.
Because
And
it's
so
a
you
good teacher. Because if you fuck up, you're eating asphalt at 20 miles an hour, and that hurts.
super high stakes. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
really interesting. Whoa. So you learned about like choice, how you can make choices about how you experience things in your body, and then that
Mhm.
started to apply to all other things.
Yep. Yep. And that's like,
That's
oh, I'm creating my own like somebody just commented, you can create your own reality. Oh, I'm creating my own reality.
yeah.
And then it just expanded and expanded and expanded, and now I'm like, oh, reality's a fucking shit show. Like here I am. I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, okay, that's really interesting because I had a very similar process, very similar experience. It was with my body where I first started to be like, oh, fuck, I can make choices about my experience, starting to like understand the body as just a reflection of consciousness, consciousness reflecting itself in all things, blah, it's just like different systems. But when I started to realize that, I was like, fuck, I can choose anything I want. I didn't know how to make choices. Like I didn't know how to actually do that or how like I like realized that I could choose my vision for who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, but I had no idea how to close the gap between what I had created up until that point and the vision for myself that I was able to now see. Was it like that for you, or did you just get it? Like, did you just know what to do?
Man, it was kind of a slow process, and it honestly took kind of almost two more another really big ego death. Like I had started this meditation circle and right at the beginning of COVID actually. And it was
Mm.
like I was in a really good space, but I hadn't figured it out. Like I hadn't like fully cracked the code. I was like, not that I've fully cracked the code. I mean, I haven't transcended into a beam of light and shot lasers out of my dick yet. So it's like I figure I still got work to do. You know what I mean? I'm still in this meat suit here. I can't quantum tunnel. So, but to the point I'm at, I had given up. I'd been like, oh, this is all bullshit. I give up. I surrender to this process.
Mhm.
And then it was getting more and more beautiful because everything was just attracted. And then I'd started this meditation circle sort of by accident, but it was like 30 people every morning at 6:30 in the morning during COVID, and even got up to like 52 people one day, and that's my ego talking. I
Mhm.
was proud of that.
Mhm.
And I kind of created this like I needed people to heal to be a healer, and I really enjoyed being there for people and holding space for people. And then like I basically got mean girled by a crew of it, and they like split off all the kind of the beautiful people of Lucadia didn't want to hang out with the homeless people and stuff that were also coming, and all of a sudden
Uh-huh.
all the beautiful people disappeared and were on a different WhatsApp thread, and I wasn't involved anymore. And I was
Whoa.
like, it was really hurtful, and I went through another dark time of just like fuck. And then I was like, oh, it's just me.
Mm.
It's just me.
Mm.
And none of this other stuff is here. And the more I give and the more I bring my own meanness out, the more it just spreads out, and it's nothing of reciprocation, but it's of joy
Mhm.
or something like that, maybe. I
That's
don't know. That really the second second banger of an ego death was a good, like, oh, okay, yeah, I get that, yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. That's really cool. So it was like the rejection, this group of people rejected you in a Mean Girls type of way, in this shitty way. And what you learned from that was like, none of that actually exists. There's just you here right now. And what you get to do is show up in a way that makes you feel good and continue to just do shit that makes you feel good.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then the more I am myself, the more it allows other people to be that, and the more that allows other people to, because you can't, like we were saying, somebody cannot know unless it's modeled. And
Yep.
so if I just be, then other people are like, it's okay to be too. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden they're not taking all their bullshit so seriously, and they're not hurting
Yes.
so much, and then it like raises it for everybody.
Yes. Fuck yes. What do you think it means to be yourself? Um, well, like, so I guess like for you in particular, what does it mean to be you? And then also like, what is it in general? What does it mean to be oneself?
Hmm. For me, it's to honestly just follow whatever is to truly. I mean, as much as we want to bullshit ourselves, to just fully follow the path of least resistance.
Hmm.
So whatever is causing me pain, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is causing me pleasure, to do that. And it sounds like this weird egotistical thing, but it leads you into love.
Mm-hmm.
It leads you into a give.
Mm-hmm.
It's not trying to attain anything, but
Yeah.
simply following what is there.
Yes.
You know, in the
Yes.
kind of human experience level of it.
Yep. Yeah. And the okay, I really resonate with that. That makes a lot of sense to me. And the cool thing about that, in on the human level, it seems like as we follow that path of least resistance, and we follow the path of like our preferences and pleasure, then we become more and more expressive. So what we would call you being you, like dressing exactly how you want, moving how you want, speaking how you want, all that shit that we would call being you, is really just a reflection of you following the path of least resistance. And the way that it shows up is in this unique, expressive way.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
that's a gift to the world.
Yep.
I used to have this, I had the funniest arguments with people in Christianity. I was like, if God like knit us together in our mother's womb and knows all the hair on our heads, then wouldn't just my natural, and everyone was always like, what's God's will for my life? What's God's will? And I was like, wouldn't it just be your natural like desires? Like, didn't he program that in you, your gifts and abilities? There was all this like biblical reference of your gifts and abilities and things like that, the gifts that you've been given. And he knows the hairs on your head and he's intricately knit you together. And so I was like, just philosophically, I was like, wouldn't you just want to like do like whatever feels right, and then that's God's will for your life?
Right.
And everyone was like, no, you have to know God's will. And I was like, well, isn't that
Interesting.
a feeling within you anyway?
Yeah.
Like
I love that you knew that back then.
yeah, I definitely got in trouble for having that conversation a little bit. So, you know.
And it's interesting, like back to how we're defining God earlier, if God is everything that's ever existed. Like the way that I've been thinking about it is like, if pleasure feels good, then it seems like the pleasure is something that the universe would want to experience. And so, what we get to do as an act of service to the universe, or an act of service to God, if you're speaking about it in that context, is like be the most ourselves, which means doing the things that the path of least resistance for us, doing the things that uniquely bring us pleasure. To be the most expressive seems to be an act of service to God or the universe, because then the universe gets to feel really fucking good as you feel really good.
Yeah, it's like the rising tide raises all ships.
Ooh,
You know, it's like
well said.
if you're just doing your own thing for selfish intent, it's not only hurting you, but it's hurting others.
Yes.
But if you're a give, it feels great because others feel great, and then that's the mirroring process of life, and that's just like neural mirroring too.
Yes.
Because when somebody's feeling that makes everybody else feel that way, just because they're
Right.
neural mirroring. But if you're like, oh, I love you, and then they're like, oh, you love me, and then all of a sudden they start feeling it, and then you feel it from them because they're like, thank you for loving me, and you're like, you love me, I love
Right.
you.
Right.
And it all gets all
Yes.
tingly, you know.
Yes. And then it just feels better.
Yeah.
Then it just feels better.
And it seems
Uh,
like a very hedonistic, like selfish path from the view of Western civilization. But all I've done is become a better, and all I want to do is be good to people and help people. Like I have zero desire for like anything of my own shit. I'm like,
yes.
how can I not manipulate, but how can I shift my life to like better serve everybody? And it's like exciting for me. It feels great.
Dude, that is my like one of my favorite things in the world is that when we start to make choices about optimizing our experience, optimizing for how we want to feel, joyful, peaceful, loving, kind, we can't do that if we're acting non-generously. The
Yeah.
only way to optimize feeling really fucking good is to be so generous and so giving. It's
Right?
this really beautiful mechanism that's at play.
Yeah. I love it. There was a guy on here last night, and he's like, "I'm really worried about you, bro. You're on TikTok all the time," and I'm like, "Well, fuck off. Get off TikTok if you don't want to see me." I was like, "I'm loving this. Like, I love it. I love being here. I love like feeling everybody out there and knowing that there's like hurting people that come here and they're like, oh my god, like, oh, you love me, like, what is this?" And they start to feel it too, and it's like I can feel them feeling it.
It's the best.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
fantastic,
best. It's the best. It's the best. Um, I'm gonna wrap up and head to bed, but dude, this was so fun. I'm
dude. I'm so
so
glad we
glad.
caught this one. We got to do this again. That was great.
I loved this so much. Like I love your content. So I look at your stuff almost every day. I was looking at your stuff today. It's like
Dude,
you're such a good communicator. Your concepts are so on point. Yeah, your stuff is so great.
yeah, thank you, my friend. Everybody follow Flynn here. He's rad. He was like he's inspiring to me. I love his stuff, man. And we actually have to hang. Are you in Golden Hill? Where are you at in San Diego?
I live like little bit east of Bird Rock. So like
Oh
Soledad
shit.
Mountain. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're super close then.
I would love to surf and
Okay,
hang and
yeah, we're gonna vibe soon
fuck
in
yeah.
person.
Fuck
We'll
yes.
do it live in person with our phones like facing
That
each
would
other.
be so
It'd
sick
be
on the
hilarious.
beach. Yeah.
I
I would
love
love
it.
that.
All right, my brother, let's get to bed. I love you, man. So glad we got to link up on live, and we'll hang soon.
Love you, homie. See you, everyone. Thanks for being here. See
See
you,
you, brother.
man. Have a good
Adios.
night.
All right, gangs. Dude, Flynn's great. I love that guy. As soon as I saw his stuff, I was like, I sent him a message and I was like, bro, I love your stuff. He's just great. You can just feel it in him. He's awesome. Um, did you guys have anything cool to say? I don't know. I gotta go to bed, you guys, but I love you. Thanks for all the little gifts and stuff, guys. Okay, everybody that was watching that and felt some like love, like pick it up, share it, take it with you. Like you can do that too. You can feel great. It's just practicing. I know my daughter did those when I was sleeping in the grass the other day, and it's still there. They look like shit, It's like you'd think a 10-year-old girl would be able to do better nails like than that, but she just really she's sleeping outside. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you need to find Flynn's handler. Deal. But yeah, for reals, follow the Flynn. His stuff's awesome and he's great. Just found so good. I'm glad you just found. She did great for a 10-year-old. I know. I give her crap though all the time. We'll get in like fake fights in public sometimes, and I'll be like, "You're adopted," and she's like, "You're adopted," and I'm like, "Oh," like it's this fake fight we do. It's the funniest thing, and people are like, "Oh my god," but she gets it. Like she gets the vibe. You know, she's hilarious. My son Aiden is hilarious too. He's 13, and he's just like this, cool as can be. Just like he's great. All right, you guys, everybody, sniff a crystal. Oh, feel the spirits in there. Everybody is more highly spiritual tonight from all of the things. We had some magic tricks. It's pretty good. I enjoyed hanging out with you. And remember, Chris Cush, if you just showed up, this candle that is burning right here is for our friend who showed up earlier who just lost her husband recently. And so as you think of her, send her all of the support and the love, everything. Just send it to her because she just lost her husband. Like, that's a tough one. So everybody right now, Chris Cush, create a feeling of support and love within you for her, like a big hug, and just wrap her up. Because that's what we're here for, you know? When you give, think of that. Like what Flynn and I were just talking about. Yeah, keep sniffing, kids. When you create that sensation of love for Chris Cush, or what her username, whatever that was. I think her husband's name was Chris Cush, or something. I don't know. When you create that sensation of love in you to give to her, it is also within you. And that's the give. When you give in love, you have to create it within yourself. And then everybody feels better. What kind of music do I listen to? All sorts of shit. I've been listening to my road trip jams playlist lately. That was a pretty good one. Before that, it was a metal playlist. Before that, it was pretty dancey stuff. And then there's this one that's like real weird robot sex music. I'm not real sure what that to even call that playlist, but I love it. And then there's some hippie music every now and then. I don't know. I just mix it up, whatever I'm feeling. Oh, this one little punk rock kind of channel I got on my Spotify. Love that one. Anyway, now you guys know how to love people better. Cool? Yeah? What is your favorite place you've traveled? Poland, I think. Southern Poland. I just really loved it. It's like a fairy tale. I remember we were driving through the woods. Tyack was driving. This crazy-ass driver we had in these little teeny cars, passing like 3 people at a time on this 2-lane road with little babushkas like picking mushrooms in the forest thing. I'm about to tell you. First off, the Polish are lovely people. Incredible. Yeah, prayers work. That's quantum intent. You're manipulating the field. Absolutely work. Pray it up. And we were ripping down by Krakow, like southern Poland. You got Krakow, this city. It has this giant castle, and there's this like legend of a dragon that lives on. I'm telling you, straight out of a fairy tale. There's all these little wood like shops and stuff. It's like something like medieval but beautiful. And then we were riding through the forest, and I was just like, look at this place. And we came out into this open meadow, and there was like a castle up on the hill. It wasn't a big one, but it was definitely castle-y. And there was a bunch of white horses running down a fucking like grassy hill. Like the sun was shining, and I was like, where am I right now? Like, what is this? So I've always kind of had a thing for Poland, you know? Okay. If you put the crystal in your butt, it'll help your energy. That's not why I was sniffing. I've never put this on. I've actually never put any crystals in my butt, but I love joking about it because it's hilarious. I felt you guys laughing. So, see? It helps your energy. Every time I sniff this, it makes me kind of laugh a little bit. That's just like helps my energy. So, yeah, buy some crystals. They're awesome. You see how awesome it is? You see how much better you feel just looking at it? I should start a rock shop and sell crystals to people. Okay, guys, I just want you to know how much I love you, and I think you're really great. And even all of you that are out there that are hurting and watching this, like take a little bit of love and just love spell you. Now you feel a little better, huh? You raised your vibration. You got highly spiritual. You were spiritual the whole time. Let's say goodnight to God. Here he is. Take a little bit, share with your friends. I love you all. I gotta clean up all this shit. There's so many books out right now and crystals and bullshit. Doing magic tricks and stuff. God. Look at my eyes. God, I hope I don't have like an 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I had to go look at my schedule that the lovely Sarah set up for me. Okay. I love you all. Good night.